I'm not wearing it. Let Fowler wear the hat.
How about that? I'll get it on the right. Go Trojans! You'll get him, Trojans!
You never fail to disappoint, Mr. Corso. We'll be here all day. Wisconsin and Minnesota coming up next. Enjoy your football.
See. An uneasy homecoming Saturday here in Columbus, Ohio. The Buckeyes are only 3-2 and struggling on offense. Not a good day to be taking on the high-scoring Michigan State Spartans. So it is the #1 offensive team in the Big Ten against the conference's top defensive unit. Welcome, everybody. With Gary Danielson, I'm Brett Musburger. Gary, every place we've gone all week long, what has gone wrong with the Buckeye offense is the #1 question.
Well, Brandon, it's a little of everything in this type of football team when you're struggling. Not enough big plays is what I see most of all. Only 5 touchdown passes for the season for Ohio State, and that's the matchup against Michigan State that really favors Ohio State. If they don't take advantage of the weak Michigan State secondary, they will have trouble matching that high-powered Spartan offense.
And, Gary, on the Michigan State side, there's a story unfolding with the special teams. Let's go to Jack Arute for that.
And Brendan involves an Ohio native, John Goss, the Spartan field goal kicker, missed a couple of critical field goals against the Michigan team. And by virtue of that, he lost his starting job. But in the bye week, he won it back. And he comes into the horseshoe with a point to prove, not only for his coach, but also for himself. He told me just before the game, he wants to have it come down to a final field goal attempt. And he said, then I'll make it my homecoming instead of the Buckeyes' homecoming.
Well, Jack, the Big Ten standings serve up more questions than answers. Penn State stands atop the heap right now. The Nittany Lions have a big one later today at Michigan on ABC. John Saunders and the gang will get you ready for the day after these messages and a word from your ABC station.
I woke up.
On the Spartans, the kickoff is coming up.
Won the coin flip against Michigan and elected to receive. Well, today they win the flip here and they have deferred. So the Buckeyes will receive the opening kickoff and they will go on offense. And the exciting Ted Ginn, one of those along with Santonio Holmes back deep, #7 there next to #4. And of course everybody uneasy and wondering when Ginn is going to explode. The freshman Todd Bolesky, #15, will handle the kickoff here for the Spartans. He left foot's a beauty. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. So Troy Smith comes in, and Gary, he has struggled. He's been second-guessed around Columbus. What are your thoughts about #10?
For Troy, it's mechanics, doing things that quarterbacks have to do. Proper drop, proper reads, getting the ball in and out of his hands to the game makers. If he gets it and does his job, Ohio State's offense will work.
His running back, Antonio Pittman, with 462 yards rushing in the backfield. They open with the fullback in the power I formation. Pittman with the game's first carry, stretches the defense, 7 yards on that first down carry. Brandon McKinney makes the stop. Our out back, backs and receivers for the Buckeyes. Ginn and Holmes. Stan White, the starting fullback, blocking for Antonio Pittman. Ryan Hamby, he is the tight end. This is the offensive line, and there's a big story here. Dadish, Sims, Mangold, Downing focus on the true freshman, Alex Boone. Kirk Barton's injury forces Boone into that starting lineup. The Spartans are very aware of it. The Buckeyes will be keeping a close eye on the freshman, who did a good job there as they screen Ginn, and he is stopped short of the first down. Defensively for the Spartans, Bazemore, Pecco, and McKinney has worked his way into the starting lineup, played well against Michigan. Clifton Ryan is the big man there. David Herron Jr., who used to be the fullback for Maurice Claret's, one of the linebackers, along with Thornhill, and Sir Darian Adams is the bandit. Watson, Cooper, Smith, and Williams. The corners are the big question marks here today. Smith is the quarterback in that secondary, one of the better safeties in the Big Ten. This is 3rd and short. Can Pittman get it? Twists his way toward it. This is going to depend on the spot. You see the yellow line, and it will depend on what kind of a spot Steve Newman's crew will give him.
3 straight snaps under center for Ohio State. They were predominantly shotgun last week against Penn State.
Looks like about a half a yard as you look across at that 30-yard line. You can see 4th down. The crowd, of course, would want Tressel to go, but backed up there on the 29-yard line. He'll send the punter out onto the field. And A.J. Trapasso will be punting to Kyle Brown, one of the wide receivers for the Spartans. Short. Spartans are going to have good field position. Ball is out of bounds and not a good punt. It's being marked at the 44-yard line. So for Drew Stanton, Gary, excellent field position. He is the #1 quarterback in pass efficiency in the country.
And that is a little bit against the scouting report that Drew Stanton came into this season with. Everybody thought this guy was a runner who made plays with his legs first and arms second. He has been a brilliant passer this year. Look for them to use a lot of screens, the coaches told us.
Jason Teague opens at running back. They'll use Teague, Kulkrick, and the freshman Ringer. All three will play. That is Teague, and Stanton on 1st down fires complete, picking up 5 yards and out of bounds on the near side. Our outback offense, the Michigan State Spartans, backs and receivers. Matt Trennan, the basketball player. Teague, Ryan Woods, Jeremy Scott, and Kyle Brown. This is the offensive line. Wheeler, Cook Morris, Nabilski, and Getve. Terry Love made that catch on the near side. 2nd down and 4. A.J. Hawk, the All-American linebacker, the Butkus Award candidate. Stanton hoofs it and can't get there. They read him perfectly. Number 97, David Patterson, on this Buckeye front, makes the key stop. Patterson at defensive end, Kudla's the other, Green and Pitcock are the tackles. Underrated right there. Here, of course, perhaps the best linebacking trio in America. Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel, and A.J. Hawk. The secondary underrated. Ubodi, Sally, Whitner, and Tyler Everett. Nate Sally, a hitter, number 21 in that secondary. Facing 3rd and 5. Let's see what Stanton and the Spartans come up with. Move the pocket to the left. Throw for it. 1st down. They move it. They put it in the hands of number 3, Kyle Brown.
That's the challenge for this Buckeye defense. The Ohio State defense does not like to substitute. They'd like to keep those versatile linebackers on the field. Michigan State is going to run a lot of 4 and 5 wide receiver sets. Then the added factor of Drew Stanton not staying in one place to throw the ball each time makes him very tough to sack.
Carl Grimes and Kellen Davis check into the game for Stanton, the quarterback. And the whistle, this will go against Michigan State prior to the snap. This will be a penalty against the Spartans. You know, we've talked to Drew Stanton a lot, and Gary was up in East Lansing, and he asked Drew about communication being the key today against the Buckeyes.
What they like to do, they like to stem a lot, show you a lot of different looks, and kind of confuse you and stress your protection a lot. So as long as we can keep solid up front with those guys, which, you know, I've got all the confidence in the world in those 5 guys that they can communicate all that, then, you know, we're going to be just fine.
Don't want to shoot yourself in the foot against a tough defense like this. Leads the Big Ten with the passing yards, but suddenly he's in 1st and 15. 10 hard enough. Quarterback will keep it, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage before Hawk and Kudla make the stop.
The game plans, ironically, for these two teams are similar except for one attack point. Michigan State needs to affect the linebackers from Ohio State. Misdirections, quick screens, keep those great players guessing, then run past balance, and then both teams need great defensive fundamentals. You don't want a big play on a small throw.
Let's see if they come up with one of those screen passes that Gary spoke about here on 2nd down and 10. Instead, they'll use Teague on a pretty conservative play call for John L. Smith. This is going to be 3rd down coming up as Kudla and Green. When we were talking to Jim Tressel yesterday, he mentioned Kudla as a possible NFL player, Gary.
Well, what he does is play with that relentless type of play and just never gives up on a play. Very strong with his hands, and one of those senior football players that gets better and better as he goes along in his career.
Tressel has never lost to John L. Smith. He has beaten him twice in the Big Ten, and once when both were Division I AA coaches. We'll get to that story a little bit later.
They are calling protection towards Bobby Carpenter.
There's your screen, and it is red. Scott slips free and short of the first down marker. And coming up hard defensively was Tyler Everett. Number 6 joined the attack big time that time.
Great read by Tyler Everett. You're exactly right. And not a good throw from Drew Stanton. These outside passes, quick slants, quick screens, need to be accurate. That ball was a forced jump catch to the outside, and that threw the timing off.
The guard Cook did an excellent job of blocking A.J. Hawk on the outside. He engaged him, and into punt is Fields. He's one of the better ones in the country, trying to get it out of bounds, and he's got it inside the 10-yard line. He worked on that for a good 30 minutes in the pregame warm-up, sending one punt after another and trying to keep the ball out of Ted Ginn's and Santonio Holmes' hands. On some days, Mother Nature dials up a perfect one for football. This is one of those in Columbus, Ohio. 65 degrees at kickoff, little light breeze down on the field. Now Troy Smith is back in the shotgun. You can see where Ginn is off to his left. They don't even look in that direction on this play. They hand it off to Antonio Pittman, who is stopped at the middle, and that is Domata Peko. And we talked to the center, Nick Mangold, about this Michigan State defense.
Big thing is their big defensive tackles. They got big guys inside that, you know, are real powerful and real strong that can give us a little trouble if we're not ready for them.
Mangold is the ringleader, and Peko made the stop. He's one of the big, wide-body tackles, if you will, and the other one, number 99, is McKinney. There you see the bulk down there. Smith gets plenty of time. Complete. Holmes. And a big play early for the Buckeyes. Something that Gary told you they had been lacking. Sharon Hayes, the corner, and a 39-yard gain. Smith to Holmes.
Look at the straight lines that Holmes runs on this. He comes out and then breaks to the outside. Straight lines, no curves. When you're running the post corner, you don't want to be sloppy. Holmes, one of the best receivers with techniques in the country, and when he runs straight lines, those corners from Michigan State do not match up.
Ball resting at the 49-yard line. Delay with Pittman for a first down. Fumble. Michigan State has the ball if they rule it a fumble. If they say the knee wasn't down, Michigan State up with it.
It will obviously be a slow whistle, so it will be reviewable. Play was not called dead.
Take a look at it. This is the view that Jim Augustine up here in the replay booth is watching. The knee, did it get down first?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his ball was just as his backside was hitting the ground, the ball was coming out. Very, very close play.
It looked like the ball may have been loose on that other side. That is the situation. They have stopped play. Augustine with the buzzer. The Buckeyes wanting to get off a play as quickly as possible. Interesting conversation with Jim Trussell yesterday. He does not like instant replay. He does not think it should be used not only in the college game, but also in the National Football League. My partner, Gary Danielson, is turning on instant replay in the college game. Why is that, Gary?
I don't like the configuration of it. I like the NFL rule better than the college rule, particularly. I think that you should not have to take a timeout to let the official make a play.
Now watch the left side. There's a big issue here about ball security as he was going down.
Was his Fanny, but help me there, Northwestern grad. Backside down before the ball moved. That will be the play. That'll be the call.
Watch the left arm. Watch the left. Now he hides the ball. Now remember, it has to be indisputable. The ball is clearly out there.
That's out. To me, it is
clearly out there. If it's indisputable, it will be Michigan State football. That's the decision. Boy, Jim Augustine has had one tough replay after another. Bazemore, the defensive lineman, pounced on that fumble. And obviously, we would not be reviewing it this long if the whistle had blown. They would say right away that the inadvertent whistle had blown. So the play was not whistled dead, and instant replay is taking its course. That's one thing that the Big Ten officials have been aware of here for the last couple of seasons.
There's indisputable video evidence that the ball was fumbled, recovered by Michigan State, the first down on the 37-yard line.
Another turnover. Remember, it was 2 critical turnovers that ruined the Buckeyes' chances last Saturday night in a fired-up Happy Valley.
Yeah, 1 interception down to the 2-yard line. It got Penn State a touchdown, and then the fumble on the last play of the game. Ohio State, that won a national championship taking care of the football, is last in the Big Ten in turnover margin.
Jim Tressel doesn't like instant replay any better after that either, folks, as Pittman, who turned it over, goes to the sideline, and now it will be Drew Stanton and the Spartan offense coming out from the 37-yard line. And the running back, the big fella, J.U. Colquitt, 355 yards on the season. He's averaged better than 6.1 yards. He likes to get downhill. He's number 30 if Stanton goes to him. They put Carpenter down, as they frequently do. Almost intercepted, broken up beautifully by Everett. Well, Tyler Everett, number 6, jumped in there.
You know, that was a great play by Tyler Everett because he controlled his body. He knew that it was a potential pass interference call, so he jumped up, and the senior kind of avoided and came around with his left hand. See, that's how you play secondary coverage. You control and know where your body is, and then stick out that hand to the last second.
Love the intended receiver. Hawk in the defense, ready again for the Buckeyes. As tough as they get, trying to run the ball on the ground. Pocket for the first down. Got it. Stanton stands in. Everett makes the stop. Jeremy Scott from Jupiter, Florida, 26 yards, and the Spartans on the drive after the turnover.
What a wonderful play here. Watch the linebackers. Bobby Carpenter will drop on this play. They run one play under and another guy right down the seam. Watch how they freeze on the underneath coverage. The 2 linebackers bite. There's the seam behind. Great read by Drew Stanton.
Colquitt is the running back next to Stanton. The call, and number 42, Carpenter, hanging on. Carpenter read it perfectly, got him from the back, and A.J. Hawk down there exchanging words with Cook, a very aggressive left guard, but there's the fellow who made the play.
The delicate balance that Michigan State has to run in this football game is to not give up on the running game. 2 years ago, Michigan State came in here to Ohio State and ran the ball for just 5 yards. Jeff Smoker threw 55 passes. I don't think they're going to do that today. They must not abandon the run game.
Right after this play, we're going to offer you a little inside access on what Stanton says about these linebackers as he fires, and he's got him for another first down. Now let's take you to East Lansing, and here is Stanton studying the trio of great linebackers at Ohio State.
When number 47's out there, he's definitely got a nose for the ball. You know, he's going 100 miles an hour, nonstop, fighting through blocks, beating, you know, corners around. You know, same thing for 42. You know, they're making plays on the backside that most people don't make.
And using the tight end, very effective against great linebackers, and that time he put the ball in Wood's hands. A 1st and 10, approaching the red zone for the first time. Stanton getting great protection. Here's Brown, short of the first down by about 4 yards, and there is A.J. Hawk. Remember, he said he was very active, moves around. Now let's take a listen to the sound of A.J. Hawk. Well, I guarantee you, folks, it sounded louder than that.
I've been down there. It's loud. Now, you know, Michigan State's spread is so much more sophisticated than anything Ohio State has seen, including Texas.
Now, Javon Ringer, the freshman with dash, in at running back. Here he comes. And the Buckeyes were ready. So tough to run on as Dante Whitner, the strong safety, plugs the hole. He read it perfectly to begin with and took Ringer on. Now in the red zone, Stanton gives Michigan State a chance almost every time he is in there. 68% touchdown.
Yeah. Ironically, the Michigan game cost them when they did not produce a touchdown inside the 20-yard line for their only loss of the season.
And for the Buckeyes, that's pretty good red zone defense too, folks. So something's got to give here. This is your third and 5.
Timeout, Michigan State. They're signaling all over
You
the
see
sideline.
Stanton turn around and signal timeout right there. So we'll take a break. Scoreless in Columbus. Like I said, I guarantee it's a lot louder than that. It hurts when you get hit by number 47. There is your first down marker. Just inside the 12-yard line, bottom of the hour with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. I'm Brent Musburger. After a fumble by the Buckeyes, the Spartans threatening for the first time. They set the screen, has to throw it away. A.J. Hawk right there in the middle, and Stanton made sure they didn't draw a bead on an interception.
Yeah, Marcus Green put great pressure up the middle. Marcus Green, the senior, is playing great defense for this defensive line. He and Pitcock have been playing very, very well inside for the Buckeye defense.
Well, here's the story that Jack Arute told you about. John Goss missed a couple of biggies against the Wolverines. Brandon Fields to hold. Here's your 33-yarder. I imagine John L. Smith is over there. He pays a lot of attention to the special teams. He takes it personally. Boy, that was a great hold by Fields. He had to juggle the hold, got it down. John L. Smith delighted in that outcome, wanting to get Goss off in this game.
Looked like he bobbled it, then put it down, and good job staying with the kick.
Watch Fields now on the hold here as we go to break. Great job. Presented by Drive Insurance from Progressive.
You know, when the kicker stays with a bobbled hold like that, you really give the kicker his props on that. That's a lot of concentration. You must trust. You have to swing through, and you have to assume the ball will get down there eventually. That's great execution.
I remember he is not handling kickoff chores today. That's Bolesky, the freshman. The dangerous ones are deep. Left foots it high. This is returnable. Fumble at the 10-yard line. Still loose. Still bouncing inside the 10. And the Spartans have got it. Oh, my. What a turn of events here as Otis Wiley, the freshman defensive back from Flint, Michigan, recovers the ball, and it will be 1st and goal.
The two best ball handlers are the team for Ohio State. Santonio Holmes muffs it, and Ted Ginn can't get to it, gets blocked out of the way. Wonderful play right there for the Michigan State ball, 1st and goal.
The underdog ready to strike in Columbus. Tressel's team under fire.
Trannon down at the bottom of the screen with a mismatch.
Colcrick, the big back. On the toss, they want him downhill. 72 tries to clear the way, but Wheeler couldn't. Penalty flag is down on the play.
Yeah, it looks like one of those holds inside. When you run the sweep and you have those offensive linemen reaching, they grab, and it's exactly what happened. You know, in the huddle on 1st and goal, as a quarterback, I used to remind my offensive line, keep your hands in. We got 3 chances to score here. Let's not move it back 10 yards on 1st down.
It would be a victory for the Buckeyes if they can hold the Spartans to a field goal. 2 turnovers already for an Ohio State team that is 3-2.
Ohio State is coming with their nickel package. That means Bobby Carpenter, number 42, is the guy that all of the protections will be called to. He lines up at defensive end.
Stanton can't find a receiver open. Dives to the 7-yard line, and he is wrapped up by Patterson. Well, a big day in the Big Ten as Penn State. Can they keep it up? Speaking of teams that have struggled, Michigan with 3 defeats already, but a very dangerous Wolverine team, favored, I might add, in the Big House. Louisville, West Virginia. That could mean all the dollars in the Big East as far as the BCS bids are concerned later.
Remember,
Louisville, West Virginia.
Excuse me, Brett. One of the biggest plays of the year, remember, was an option against Notre Dame. Trannon, again, one-on-one in the bottom of the screen.
Jason Teague. They floated high to Trannon off his right hand.
Was he
and
being
he
held?
was defended by Ubodi. Ashton Ubodi was on him.
You got to get 2 hands up for that. Whether you're rebounding the basketball, as he is a basketball player, you can't allow Ubodi. Look at him. He's got to grab. Does he grab his arm? You got to get 2 hands up on this play. Come on, Matt Trannon.
He was holding the one wrist as you looked at that replay.
He just had his arm
I'm not
across
sure he
him.
could
You got to
get
fight
it
through
up.
that.
I'm not sure he could get the arm up. As we took a look at it, it looked like Ubodi had it locked up pretty good on the wrist from that replay. And now we come 3rd and goal. Fires back across the green, incomplete. And there's a penalty flag, and if it's against the defense on that hit, it will be 1st and goal.
Bobby Carpenter is going to get the late hit call on this play.
That'll do it. 1st and goal. A fresh set of downs for the Spartans.
On that previous play to Matt Trannon, you tell your receivers, make the referee call it. On this play, Drew Stanton buys time, and then as he throws across, go a couple 2.5 steps to hit Drew Stanton late, and they're going to call that every time.
Did you think it was a good call?
Oh, yeah. Let's go back to that play. Watch, Ubodi holds him early, but then he doesn't close his hand down. Fight up. Put that other hand up. Make him call it. And you could see it. Make that official call the play. I agree. They could have called holding on that play.
I don't think there's any question. I don't think there was any question they were holding Trannon. I didn't think so when I saw it the first time. 1st down and goal after the penalty on Carpenter. And we only got 10 men on the field
Ohio
here.
State, the first of the half.
1, 2, 5. That's only 10 defensive players. That won't cut it.
Well, Ohio
That'll
State.
cost them a timeout. What kind of mistakes the Buckeyes are making. The college football on ABC is brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. Dr. Pepper in your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. And Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Ohio State playing really, really kind of almost sleepwalking type football here. That Penn State loss seems to have carried over at least into the first quarter of this football game.
They lost a very, very tough game here on a Saturday night to Texas. Could have easily won that game. Then they seemed to regroup by beating Iowa convincingly. Went into a fired-up Happy Valley. And we have never heard players or observers tell us about the noise level that existed over there last Saturday night. The linemen said they had trouble hearing the call in the huddle. Forget about it, the line of scrimmage. That's how noisy it was as the students dressed in white last Saturday night. And the theme was white out Ohio State. And Penn State did exactly that. And now the rattled Buckeyes trying to hold on. It's their top unit against Michigan State's best unit. Strength on strength. Kulcrick, the running back, straight ahead, power, touchdown Spartans. J.U. Kulcrick.
Well, that play began again right where this drive originated from. Remember, there was a penalty when Michigan State recovered that kickoff fumble. A lot of things happened. We had a penalty that could have been called, a penalty that was called, and this time Dave Baldwin says, I'm going right at you. No more stretch blocks. I'm going right at you.
And Goss to attempt the extra point. Morris, he's the center. Scooped it up off the ground, and Fields done an excellent job. And here's our first touchdown, and it puts the underdog up by 10 on a Saturday afternoon in Columbus, Ohio. To you, my friend.
Right back at you, Brent, here with the Taco Bell update. You mentioned the SEC. Alabama's been the big surprise, facing Ole Miss today, but Ole Miss strikes first. Michael Spurlock, 27 yards to Mario Hill. And Ole Miss right now, you see their record in conference 0-2 with a 7-0 lead. Game's still in the first quarter, though. Brent, back to you.
Now, John, we'll keep an eye on that one. And here the Spartans have stunned the Buckeyes. And Troy Smith back in the gun.
First play of the game from shotgun.
Here's Pittman. And Heron makes the stop. Our deep rushing playbook, Gary.
Well, a lot of people say if you're going to run at a fast defense, you run right at them. You remember Michigan State did it wide one time, but this time they run right downhill at Ohio State and run right through tackles. That's Big Colquitt. He runs through a tackle right into the end zone.
Getbay, the right tackle, Nabilski. The Ohio State rush defense yielded that touchdown. The leading rushing defense in the country. And here's Ginn, first down at the 35-yard line, number 31, Jaron Hayes, the defender.
Well, Ohio State game plan could be simplified a little bit more. Hold on to the ball, but let's look at other things. We talked about how Michigan State must affect linebackers. Ohio State must attack the secondary. They need to have balance again and defensive fundamentals. That means lining up against this very, very high-powered Spartan offense.
Draw play. Pittman finds a seam, and that'll put him about 2 yards short of the first down. You know, we asked head coach John L. Smith what they must do to win this game.
What we have to do is our defense has to step up. We have to get the ball back. We can't allow them to march the football down the field and kick a field goal. We have to get the ball back for our offense, get our offense time of possessions with the football. If we can do that, then we can get some points on the board.
Perfect so far. 2 turnovers. Buckeyes have not marched the length of the field. Pittman fumbled one, then they botched a return, a kickoff return after the field goal. And here we see Ryan Hamby, the tight end, hobbling off to the sideline. They're already shorthanded at the tight end position. And Jim Trussell really handicapped. He loved to use the tight end. And he felt he needed him today against the Spartans, and now they have lost their starter for the time being. Pittman cuts back, first down. Good cutback by Antonio Pittman, very patient. Bazemore with the tackle.
See, I think Antonio Pittman is really emerging as a running back. He's going to be a go-to guy for Ohio State. But from the shotgun, it's very hard to attack with him. He's a much better player with a tight end and fullback in the game.
Again, number 7 coming to the left side of the formation. But the big story is his turnover. When they were on the move earlier, Pittman put it down. Smith pulling out, looking for the big play. Got it! Touchdown, Ohio State. Santonio Holmes has put the Buckeyes on the board with a 51-yard scoring strike from Troy Smith.
See, that's what Troy Smith needs to do. Be patient and take what they give you. That was a play where he just found the secondary. He saw it was tilted towards Ted Ginn, and there was Santonio Holmes with his arm outstretched. Perfect throw, big play. And that's what we talked about. Big plays what this Ohio State defense needs.
Josh Houston, number 23, who replaced Mike Nugent, will attempt the extra point. We were over with Vlade Yanakievsky yesterday at his deli, and he said that Houston has been dang near perfect this year. Good kickoff man, good field goal expert. Remember, there were questions with Nugent moving to the New York Jets of the NFL, but it's 10-7 now, and you can take a look at it from low.
Look at that little play action pass, gets back, not a lot of pressure on Troy Smith, delivers it to the outside, and Holmes, one of the best receivers in the country, gets away from Eric Smith, just walks into the end zone. Safety Eric Smith was too far inside that time and allowed Troy Smith to attack that field. Again, attack the Michigan State secondary. That's the weakness of the football team.
Yeah, the corner over there, number 9, Williams, didn't get back on him either, did he?
Yeah, they were in a roll-up zone there, Brent, but the safety was trying to play two guys and didn't do a good job of it.
So there's Holmes. Talented receiver from South Florida. 3 touchdowns, averaging better than 17 yards a catch. And Marcel Frost, we are told down below, a sophomore, will get some reps at tight end with Hamby injured for the time being. He was on the field.
Yeah, they already lost Roy Nickel, their backup tight end. That's been a problem position for Ohio State, as Brent told you a few minutes ago.
Ball on the tee for Houston. This is a place where Vlade said that he had excelled with his kickoffs. Beautiful against that breeze, drives it into the end zone.
That was returnable. That was a line drive. I thought he should have come out on that one.
Damon Williams, who was the corner. And now we showed you inside access from the quarterback standpoint. Let's turn around now and give the monitor to linebacker Bobby Carpenter and let him talk about Drew Stanton. Inside access.
Does a great job delivering the ball, accurate passer, great at eluding the rush, looking downfield afterwards. Really a total package, and the quarterback can run the ball, pass the ball, get physical, and he'll make the big play for you when you need to.
And Carpenter got a little too physical, didn't he, a short time ago? And here is Stanton. Look at the offensive line giving time. Wow. Attacks the middle. Does just that. Put it in the hands of Kerry Reed.
Such a great design pass offense for Michigan State. They cross a player on those real aggressive linebackers, and that time A.J. Hawk jumped, Carpenter jumped, and Drew Stanton threw to the next level right behind him. That's how you design plays against those linebackers. Take advantage of their aggressiveness, run one guy short, one guy behind him.
Here's Stanton, that inside handoff, and it is Ringer, 39. And you can see the gang effort there by the Buckeye defense. So let's look ahead to the National Football League. Tomorrow night, the Texans battle the Seahawks, and then Monday night, the Rams head to Indy to take on the only undefeated team in the NFL, Peyton Manning and the 5-0 Colts. And you get the feeling now that Peyton Manning and Tony Dungy's defense just might get the job done in Indy this year. 1:40 here in Columbus in the first quarter. 2nd down and 8. Drew Stanton, the Michigan State quarterback, moving the pocket to the left. He'll take off, finds a seam, but short of the first down. He was tripped up by Quinn Pitcock. Got him by the ankle. And Jack, what are we hearing from the sideline?
Well, it's good news, Brent. You're going to be able to see Ryan Hamby come back out. It was a tweak of his right knee. They've gone and put an elastic brace on it. And so far, they've cleared him to return when the offense comes back out on the field.
Okay, and his substitute, Frost, right there alongside him. You look from behind Trussell. Out of his defense, Teague, the running back. This is 3rd and 6. Spartans need it, and they've got it. Kyle Brown.
So nice to watch. Drew Stanton, left hash, throws that ball, the smash route. A smash route means the outside receiver comes off about 5 or 6 yards and sits in the flat, and the inside receiver runs a corner. Drew Stanton delivered that ball clear across the field. Watch. 3, 4, 5 steps, turns to the outside, just settles, and that ball gets there for Bar. Ubodi can get and make the play. That is a wonderful read again by Stanton, and good protection by the Michigan State line.
1st and 10, the freshman back in as the running back, standing right to the right. We're going to throw the flanker screen. Brown gets free, 1st down. 10 yards on the play, and he had to elude a defender. And there is number 3. Went down hard on that far sideline over there, being helped up.
That's the challenge for Ohio State. When you blitz the spread and a team is willing to run those wide receiver screens, you catch them in the wrong coverage, like Michigan did that one play where they scored the touchdown all the way to Kerry Reed, I believe it was, on that play. That one, easy throw, you blitz, you get in there, but nobody quickly can get to the quarterback.
No offense. and that includes Texas, has been able to move the ball as well as the Spartans have here in the first quarter. Breaking tackles with the freshman. He put it down, but he may have been down. Ringer might have been down on that play. And you can see a very aggressive Drew Stanton, who was once covering punts, pounced on it anyway.
This Ohio State defensive line gets a lot of penetration, but they seem to be running in the wrong direction. You see Ringer right there make a guy miss to the inside Tyler Everett. Then the ball goes down. Was his forward progress enough? I think first look really doesn't matter. Michigan State got the ball anyway.
Yeah, like we said, Stanton pounced on it. You saw that. We've come to the end of the first quarter. 2 turnovers by Ohio State headline the quarter. 10 points for the Spartans, and then the long touchdown pass by Troy Smith to Santonio Holmes. 10-7. In that first quarter, Michigan State put 132 yards on this Buckeye defense. They'll open with a 2nd and 4, and the Spartans elect to go wide without a running back there with Stanton. The offensive line, they'll keep an H-back look, and then they'll send the tight end out too. Under pressure, fires, and broken up. A.J. Hawk smashed it down. So 10-7, the 2 turnovers, of course, the big story of that first quarter as Hawk comes up and makes another fine defensive play. But Gary, is anything surprising you here about the Spartans' ability to move the football so far?
No. I figured Michigan State would be able to move the ball. I'm a little surprised the success and the willingness that Ohio State has to throw the ball deep. I think Jim Tressel said we're going to have to score points. We're going to throw the ball.
Stanton trying to dance away, and Hawk is on him. Sacks him at the 37-yard line. Another big one brewing up in Minnesota here in the Big Ten. John, what's going on with the Golden Gophers?
Well, Brian, you know, Cupido can't start because of an injury, so it's Tony Mortensen at quarterback, and he throws a picture-perfect pass 5 yards to Matt Spade, and it's a 7-7 game. A couple of those one-loss teams in the Big Ten. Everybody looking up at Penn State, Brian.
And an impressive number for Maroney down at the bottom, John. Already 70-some yards rushing, so he was nicked last week also. And now Fields will try to kick it away from the speed, and he does just that. Another beautiful punt. Well, there's a character we remember from the Michigan game. Do you remember when Chad Henne fumbled on the play? Pecco, tell us about that.
I was rushing the pass, and I seen my teammate Cliff Ryan just hit the quarterback, and I seen the ball come loose. And we always practiced that scoop and score, so I just ran to the ball and scooped it up. That's a D lineman's dream right there, to take it to the house.
Well, there he is coming in on that defensive line right now. The Buckeyes will be coming out from inside the 5, and a whistle down on the field.
And Michigan State was misaligned again. They didn't have the right look up against Ohio State, so John L. took a timeout.
Columbus, Ohio. I'm Brent Musburger with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. Michigan State and Ohio State. The Spartans taking advantage of a couple of turnovers, took an early lead. Buckeyes right back in the middle of it. Troy Smith coming out from the end zone, and the middle of that defensive front holding firm for the Spartans.
Boy,
Pittman.
Eric Smith did a great job on that one. Just filled the hole with that strong safety kind of fill play right there. Got the 8th man in right at the end of the play right there. Here's Eric right here. Right there. Here's Eric Smith right here. Watch him clean in, get there, fill the hole, and make the tackle. Beats the block from Alex Boone.
Second down and 8. Smith, the captain of the defense. They thought they would have to move him to bandit, but Adams coming along allowed them to leave him at safety. Smith on a keeper, and the Spartans read it, and Clifton Ryan from Saginaw makes the stop. We check in with Jack.
Well, there's no question that Troy Smith has shouldered a lot of the blame for some of the problems that the Buckeyes have occurred. But he is measured against a 4-point quarterback code. All the quarterbacks are. And basically what this code involves is 1, making good decisions. 2, eliminating turnovers. 3, big plays. And 4, poison patience. The coaches feel that he needs to work on 1 and 4. So far, he's taken care of 3. Had a big play.
3rd and 6. Pittman off to his left. Gonzalez is the 3rd wide. Dancing to the left. And throwing it out of bounds as David Stanton of the defensive front was in pursuit. And I hear boos here in the horseshoe.
See, when Troy Smith scrambles like that, you'd like your quarterback to keep his eyes downfield and look and see if a receiver breaks open. That time, Ted Ginn was standing wide open right on the hash. And if Troy Smith just looks up as he's running, looks downfield, he has an easy play. That's that patience that Jack was talking about, to stay with the play and not just throw it away.
A.J. Trapasso from his own end zone will punt. Kyle Brown, the wide receiver, the return man for Michigan State. Booms it. A beautiful punt this time. Inside the 20-yard line, rolling almost to the 15 before it is down. So Trapasso with a 76-yarder. Wow. Speaking of great moments in Ohio State football history, we all know Archie Griffin is the only player in college history to win back-to-back Heisman trophies. But who's the only player to win the Heisman as a junior and then finish second as a senior? Now to talk about the Heisman Trophy, Matt Leinart won it last year, trying to duplicate Archie's great feat. He's playing the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame at South Bend, another big one today. There you see the average yards per play, but Drew Stanton and the offense trying to move it again here as they come with the freshman, and Ringer crosses the 20-yard line.
Ohio State, if you take turnovers out of their football team, they're right there. They're 5-0 in this season. And look at, for the whole season, only twice has a team taken it from their half of the field and drove for a touchdown. Iowa did it once, and Penn State did it once, and Texas did it once. That's why turnovers are being stressed so much by Jim Tressel as his formula for a championship.
In that first quarter against Texas, the Longhorns put 140 yards on the Buckeye defense that night. And you can see just how talented it is as Joel Penton, one of the backups, now getting some snaps, makes the stop for Ohio State.
Ohio State will play 8 guys up front. They keep their linebackers in most of the football game. You don't take Hawk, Schlegel, or Carpenter out, but those front guys are kept fresh and they make plays the whole game. Remember, just 56 yards a game rushing defense, this Ohio State Buckeye team.
3rd down, Carpenter and gang trying to get the crowd back in this. Stanton needs 5 yards. You see the yellow marker. Keeps it off the fake. He can run for the first down, and he's got it. Ever alert. And Jim Haycock saying that his guys are being held. One of the co-defensive coordinators aggressively pursuing the officials.
That is probably a most common complaint that Dave Perry and the officiating here all game from both sides. We got a hold. We didn't get a hold. They're holding us. We should be holding them. That's kind of a common thing that's done. But Drew Stanton has only had 8 running plays called for him this season. That was off a pass right there.
So Carpenter, Hawk, and Schlegel get ready again. And here's the freshman Ringer. And a fine 13-yard run for the youngster from Ohio who was not recruited early by Ohio State, then was injured, and the Buckeyes seemed to drop away from him. But Michigan State stayed in contact, and
counter play. There you see Chris Morris, fine center for Michigan. They get inside. That time you wonder if he's holding on David Patterson. That's what happens inside. If you keep your hands in, they're not going to call it. It's when you reach they call it.
The linebackers this time, and they are getting pierced pretty good by Ringer. This is as well as I've seen anybody run against this front. Everett is down. He is shaken up on the play.
Again, remember 2 years ago, Jeff Smoker in Michigan State came in here and only ran the ball for 5 yards, throwing 51 times. Today, the goal from Dave Baldwin, Michigan State's offensive coordinator, was enough balance to...
All right, John, and Tyler Everett is still down, and he took a blow to the helmet from his own teammate, Marcus Green. Now, it's helmet to helmet, and Everett took a blow and rolled over on the ground, and you can see the medical attention that he's receiving. Now, watch 94. Here's number 6, Everett. And the crowd now applauding as they help the young man up. Now there's his teammate right to the helmet there.
Yeah, and that's one of those when a running back cuts back, and Everett was using good form. He did not duck his head that time. It's good to see him be helped off here. And, you know, this Ohio State defense, all 11 starters have started every game. They have not had a significant injury on defense. You know, they've all got bumps and bruises, but this is the first significant injury of the season for the Buckeye defense.
So helmet to helmet like that, and obviously you guess concussion, and you hope that there's nothing serious. And seeing him up on his feet, as Gary pointed out, is certainly a good sight. But will cause the coaches, Jimmy Haycock and Luke Fickell, the co-defensive coordinators, now to make a substitution in that secondary.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Brandon Mitchell. Malcolm Jenkins, the nickelback, is already in, so Brandon Mitchell takes the spot of Everett as the safety.
10:03 to go. Short drop by Stanton. First down. Across midfield. And Stanton getting plenty of protection. All right, remember we asked the Aflac question, who's the only player to win the Heisman Trophy as a junior and finish second as a senior? Folks, pretty good running back from Oklahoma. Billy Sims won it in '78, finished second in '79 to Charles White of USC. But Sims came the closest to equaling the record of Archie Griffin. And now Matt Leinart trying to do the same, and we'll see how that unfolds. He has a big show today. Archie, of course, still very prominent in the athletic department here at Ohio State. And Stanton takes off short of the first down. In fact, he is down below. One of the nicest gentlemen in the world. He's with Jack.
And Brent, he and his teammates will be recognized at halftime. Archie, why is it so hard for a Heisman winner his junior season to repeat his senior season?
Well, I think the big thing is that you're a target and everybody's out to get you. Your name is out there. And it's just tough. I mean, it really is. I know my senior year, I probably put more pressure on myself than anybody else, but it was tough.
Now, I got to ask you a question. We all get ballots to vote. Do you get 2 as a 2-time winner?
I get asked that question all the time, Jack, but no, I only get 1. I've been trying to lobby to get 2 votes. They hadn't done it for me yet.
Thanks, Archie.
Okay.
And thanks to you, Jack. And fine young running back, Javon Ringer, carrying the ball. He came into this game averaging almost 8 yards a pop. He scored 4 touchdowns, and there goes the great one, Archie Griffin.
Wait, excuse me there, Brent. Archie Griffin is, we've seen one of those north-south runners in the Big Ten. That's the way you do it when you're a tailback. Doesn't it seem like Michigan State's getting to the outside of that Ohio State defense pretty effectively now?
And now they're coming back with Colquitt, Gary, a strong inside runner in a short yardage situation, trying to pick up the first down. John L. Smith trying to drive it down their throat with David Patterson in on the stop amongst a few of his teammates down there.
And I would suggest from this side of the field right now, they were going to give it a 4th down try if they don't make it on 3rd down.
There's John L. on the far side, came to Michigan State a few years back from Louisville. Also coached out west at Idaho when they were Division I AA, then a successful tenure at Utah State. So when John L. was coaching at Idaho in the Division I AA semifinals, he took on Youngstown State, one of their powerful teams, coached by Jim Tressel. And Youngstown State beat Idaho that day and knocked them out And Idaho has moved up a division now, and you can see how much he needs there. And Jack, what are they saying on the sideline about Tyler Everett's condition?
Well, guys, the reason that they were so cautious with Tyler Everett is he did lose consciousness, but he came to, and they have now removed him. They're going to put him through some preliminary test for a concussion. Obviously, he's done for the day.
Well, as Gary predicted, here comes 4th and 1. Trussell, the old coach, on the near side. Stanton will bring the offense. He can run it.
This is shocking to be in shotgun on 4th and inches.
H-back look. Teague is the running back, and they're going to throw for it. Got it.
Wow.
To the 30-yard line, just like that. The tight end, Kellen Davis, free for the first down. Is that being arrogant down there, Mr. Danielson?
I don't know if it's arrogant. I think it's a little bit more risky. I'd have given my quarterback a quarterback sneak on that play. It's a pick pass to the outside. It's going to be thrown to the tight end, Kellen Davis. He's going to come in motion, come upfield, gets a pick rub off right there to the outside, and catches the football. Nate Sally was in coverage, but couldn't rub off cleanly enough to make the play. You know, if that's an incomplete pass, I'm going to second guess John L. and say, come on, 4th and inches, you can't make a quarterback sneak?
The player injured here is Wheeler. The Dante Whitner read it beautifully, and he might have taken that one to the house had he picked it off.
Well, remember, Ohio State picked off a screen pass last year against Michigan State, and you can see they are ready for it. Now, if you're Michigan State, here it is right there. He's just going to read the play and come. Just goes for it. He feels it. He says, they're coming. I feel it. Can't get the tight end out to do it, and almost had the possibility 1 second earlier start could have picked it and intercepted it. Now you got to know it's man coverage. Michigan State needs to throw the ball downfield more.
Stanton back, fires, middle, got it. Touchdown, Spartans. Scott.
Throw the down ball downfield more when they start getting the screens, and you have opportunities. A beautiful throw on the seam route.
36 yards to the receiver from Dwyer High School, who lives in Jupiter, Florida. A fine all-around athlete. He makes it 16-7, and Stanton threads the needle.
Absolutely. That ball was no more than 10 to 12 feet off the ground the whole way. He threw a fastball. He was a high school pitcher with an opportunity to be drafted to play baseball, and he threw a fastball.
Here's Goss. Fields is the holder. (17-7). The Spartans lead it by 10 again.
Watch Drew Stanton. He knows he's got Nate Sally in the middle of the field. He holds him with his head and then just ropes it down the middle. Beats the throw to Sally.
And a big kudo to Jason Teague, who picked up the blitzing linebacker. What a block Teague threw to give him enough time. And you see the result at the other end.
Women's room and give me your underwear. 2 cases that pack a punch. Boston Legal. Sweet. All new Tuesday, 10/9 Central, only on ABC.
We call it the play behind the play. A.J. Hawk, you know what he does when he blitz, but this time you get 2 guys on him, finish him off, and allow the quarterback to make the throw. You cannot make a touchdown throw if you don't pick up that blitz. You get a lot of credit to the receiver and the quarterback, but everybody up front has to do their job.
Ball on the tee for Bolesky. This is returnable. Santonio bobbles it again and goes down on the 10-yard line. The return men for the Buckeyes are having a nightmare of an afternoon.
Remember, Santonio Holmes is into the sun, and he wears a visor that sometimes is tinted. I wonder if the combination there gave him trouble, but you're right. One he whiffs, and one hits him in the face mask. Ohio State just looks like they're sleepwalking so far in this football game. They've had one great play, the touchdown pass to Holmes.
Coming out from the 10-yard line. On first down, Smith, left side, but incomplete. Well, college football on ABC is brought to you by Chevy. The new Chevrolets, an American revolution. IBM, become an on-demand business. IBM can help. Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right. And Aflac, ask about it at work.
That is a play where Ted Ginn needs to learn to be a better receiver. It took him too long to get in and out of his route. What mean by that? In means the post fake. Out means the outside to the field. It took him too long. Troy Smith had to guess a throw on the play.
Second down. You see that Hamby is back in at tight end. Stepping into the throw, he bounces it again. And it will be 3rd and 10. And you now have to wonder, as things now stand for Tressel, if he won't think about Justin Zwick if Troy Smith can't finish a drive off before the intermission.
Watch how long Gonzalez is open. He's open from there to there, and Troy Smith just isn't seeing it quick enough. Watch. Right about now. Throw him the ball. Throw him the ball. Throw him the ball. Look at all that territory. Troy Smith is already scrambling, and then when you try to throw it late like that, it's not going to work.
Have not converted a 3rd down yet.
And
Holmes is going in motion and miscommunication.
Yep.
They weren't set right. They'll have to use a timeout here. 6:15 to go in the second. An uneasy crowd in Columbus, Ohio. Buckeyes down by 10. From American Samoa, his brother, an offensive tackle in the National Football League. Domata with that big play that helped send the Michigan game into overtime where the Wolverines won it up in East Lansing. And Pecco, a very stout defensive lineman down there next to McKinney, who has shed some weight and is a little bit quicker for John L. Smith. Troy Smith taking off, and he will not get to the first down. He kept on battling, and it will depend on the spot and when the whistle blew. You can see the umpire, the veteran Roger Haber, there.
That ball was attempted to be thrown on an out route to Ted Ginn, but Cedarian Adams, number 27, the bandit, ran right underneath number 7 Ted Ginn and took the throw away from the Ohio State quarterback.
On 4th down, the Spartans checking over to the side. See Tressel's punt unit is coming out.
Yeah,
you cannot risk
the ball. Yes.
giving the ball up here with this field position.
And this time Kyle Brown must catch the ball. Last time when you're back there, you have to catch. You can't allow a 15 to 20 yard roll like last play.
Trapasso is waiting to punt it. Drew Norman snaps it to him. On the big bounce, picks it up, and he'll go right down at the 35-yard line, and he is thrown down there by Antonio Smith, a backup safety, and we'll let Steve Newman, who lives in El Paso, Illinois. That's right. There is in El Paso, Illinois. Didn't know that myself.
No, I didn't either.
Down by Bloomington, down close to Champaign Way.
Yeah, one of the gunners held that time, and it was an easy call.
Here's our Pacific Life game summary here in the first half. A couple of turnovers on the kickoff, one of them which led to the Spartan touchdown. Kulkrick pounding into the end zone. And the Buckeyes rallying behind this pass from Troy Smith to Santonio Holmes, and then Scott answering from Drew Stanton, and that's how we stand with John L. Smith trying to beat Jim Tressel for the first time. 0-2 at Michigan State. They lost a heartbreaker 2 weeks ago at home to Michigan, but they're still very much in the thick of things. They'll close out the Big Ten season, remember, at home against Penn State. The Nittany Lions are in Ann Arbor later today on ABC. Stanton slipping away from the pressure. Schlegel getting there finally, and Hawk cleaning up as we check in down below with Jack.
Sorry, guys, I had a little problem with my microphone there. You know, one of the things that you guys were talking about at the top of the show was the fact that all of a sudden this edition of Drew Stanton involves a lot more passing, a lot less rushing. Well, it's by design. Dave Baldwin, the offensive coordinator, made him go through all of the preseason without ever running the ball to increase his footwork and his balance.
Ringer, speaking of footwork and balance, Jack, the freshman's back on. Carpenter down on the right side against Kazmarek, who stays on. Wheeler did not return, and there is a very good-looking freshman running back. There's another one at Northwestern, Sutton, who set a lot of rushing records at Ohio, and Trussell telling us yesterday they got in late on Sutton, and that's someone that they probably could use, as Ringer is from nearby in Dayton, Ohio. So there are two good-looking freshmen who got out of the state of Ohio. As you see the reminder of our Chevrolet players of the game coming up later, and Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution. Deach University's General Scholarship Fund.
Look, when you know how to run the spread and you can throw the ball, how much quieter the linebackers are from Ohio State than we're used to seeing.
Offensive line does a great job. Steps up Trannon, the basketball player, for the big gain.
Wow, he
just Spartans,
threw that
his
one.
second catch. Brandon Mitchell, the defensive back, with the coverage, as Stanton now seems to just be getting more and more confident with his throwing,
back,
but it's coming back.
Yep.
Illegal formation. Only 6 players on the line of scrimmage. Offense.
That's part the quarterback's fault on that.
Previous spot remains first down.
Quarterback has responsibility to make sure that those players are covered up. He can glance out there. He knows the formation that should be called. He can move them up. That's one of the things you ask your quarterback, a final check to make sure those receivers are up on the line of scrimmage.
And Wheeler making his way slowly to the Spartan locker room. He's their left tackle. Kazmarek has replaced him.
Wheeler's the best pass blocker also.
Kazmarek is on the left side. They put a tight end over there to Chip. Stanton fires, come right back to a different receiver, Kerry Reed on the left side.
I haven't seen a quarterback in a long time use his eyes as well as Drew Stanton is doing in this football game. He hangs on the middle of the field, keeps his feet moving, he bounces, and then he just delivers hard throws, seam throws down the outside. When you have one guy deep, one safety, he's throwing that seam, and that's really his read. Talk to Dave Baldwin. He says we only ask the quarterback to do 2 things. Is center field covered or open? And if there's one guy out back there, we're throwing seam routes, and Stanton is doing it.
28 more yards, 174 on the game. Pump fake now by Stanton. He'll drop to the safety valve, and they'll take a loss in yardage on that play. Whitner, the safety, comes up on Trannon.
Yeah, it's going to be an illegal chop block and a personal foul against Michigan State on this play, a 15-yarder. Marcus Green was the end result of that play, got chopped.
I think it was on us.
Sometimes you see the second guy react. It looked to me like Michigan State had a chop block on Marcus Green. That was a gimmick play by the Spartans that time. They tried to fake that outside screen and go deep, and the Buckeyes were ready for it.
So there's the signal, and the reminder that coming up on the Valvoline halftime show, John, Craig, and Aaron will have today's highlights and reveal their Rose Bowl selections. That's where the national championship will be played. Plus, Craig sits down with Texas head coach Mac Brown to discuss the pressures of coaching. And speaking of the BCS series, the fellows from the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl are visiting today's game. It was nice to chat with John Junker, and we note that both of the stations in Phoenix and Tucson have opted to pick up this game. And should Texas wind up in the Rose Bowl, of course, Junker and his staff will have, if you will, a first choice. And they're looking hard at the Big Ten. Ohio State won their national title against Miami at the Fiesta Bowl. And it's a very popular venue for fans from the Big Ten. So we shall see how that unfolds. Still a lot of snaps as it is declined here.
I'm very surprised. You usually will take a 15-yard penalty no matter what down it is. But this time, Jim Tressel's allows to make it second down instead of taking 15 more yards.
Which shows you the confidence he has in this Buckeye defense.
244 yards in the first half.
And 18. On the fake, Stanton will try to slant out of it. And he's bumped and down. And that was Ubodi, the corner, coming up. And, of course, this is every day, every Saturday will be a big day as far as the conference is concerned. What a dogfight. Minnesota, Wisconsin deadlocked at the half. Iowa against a surprising Indiana team, 14-7. Northwestern strikes first on Purdue, and both Iowa and Purdue lost early. Purdue has been one of the disappointments around the conference, and their hands full against Northwestern. 3rd down and 9. Stanton back in the shotgun. Here comes the linebacker blitz. And Stanton's got daylight as he gets past that wave. Dives for the first down. What a quarterback.
Still got to wonder me. I'm going back to first down. Not taking a 15-yard penalty is going to be my question to Jim Tressel if I had him later. But Drew Stanton is showing that not only is he throwing, he is making all the plays.
A penalty.
Probably holding back here again, huh?
Holding. Number 66 on the offense.
Going to take that one.
10 yards from the previous spot. Replay the down.
Just inside of 2 minutes remaining in our opening half on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Columbus, Ohio. More than 100,000 in the Horseshoe, and they have been extremely quiet here today. Disappointed in what has happened and transpired, not just in this first half, but so far this season. They did not expect to be 3-2, and John L. is livid with this call. Stanton eyes the defense on 3rd and 19. Look out. He turned right back into the pressure. Carpenter able to take him down.
That time Michigan State kept their tight end and only sent out 4 receivers, and the 7 dropping defenders for Ohio State. Nowhere to throw the football. That's not a bad punt by Drew Stanton on that play. If it's not there, take the worst thing. Tight end stays in this time. Only 4 receivers out, 4 players, so you got 7 in the secondary, nobody to throw to, and Stanton does it. Ohio State, I guess, takes their last timeout.
With 1:28 to go, Brandon Fields will trot on here for Michigan State, and Ted Ginn waiting to come out on the field. And John L's an interesting character, Jack.
Yeah, but Brent, you and I got a chance to talk to him, as Gary did as well, and you can tell that there's been a little bit of a change in his life, and I think you can take that back to the big scare that his wife of 35 years, Di, as she likes to be called, and he experienced a year ago during football season. We all know the story. Diagnosed first with what was supposed to be terminal cancer. In fact, they dispatched their son to go back home to find a burial plot. Then lo and behold, it was a Michigan medical man that actually said it was a misdiagnosis, and now we're proud to tell you that Di is cancer-free, offered cancer medication, and John said, you know, I've taken time to smell the roses. So much so that this August, on their 35th wedding anniversary, he sent his lovely wife 35 long-stem roses.
Yeah, great story. Biggest win he'll ever have, huh?
128, and Santonio and Ginn both go back deep on this punt for Fields. Trying to protect the sideline. High bouncer, fumbled again. And Michigan State's got it with 1:20. You talk about a nightmare.
Ted Ginn is just kind of, the only word I can continue to use is sleepwalking. Ted Ginn just looks so nonchalant as he comes up on a free ball like that, and Michigan State's going to get the ball at the 25-yard line. Ball's on the field. Ginn. A lot of traffic around him. Takes his eye off it and bobbles it right down there. That's a clean, easy play, and the Spartans have it.
Well, Ted Ginn, no question about it, is on the hot seat here in Columbus. 47 touches and 1 touchdown. Now a critical turnover, and in the Columbus Dispatch yesterday morning on Friday, on the front page, the reference line to this story: disappearing act by Ted Ginn Jr., who has now turned it over. 1:20 to go. Ringer, the freshman running back, behind the right side, and it will be 2nd down.
Michigan State only has 1 timeout also, but still plenty of time. They should go hurry up, and they are.
Remember now, the Buckeyes are shorthanded in that secondary. Everett shaken up, out of the game. 2nd down and 7. Stanton has found ways to attack the middle. He takes off for the first down. That'll stop the clock, and he's got it.
Boy, A.J. Hawk gave him a good one right there as he dove forward. Stanton goes as far as he can. He feels the pressure and dives forward.
And Bodie, a little bit shaken up. He jumped back up, and he will stay on the field right now with 40 seconds to go. John L. playing the clock right now. One timeout left for the Spartans. At least that's what's showing on the scoreboard. That's an unofficial. Well, there it is right now. One timeout for the Spartans. 30 seconds to go. Stanton rolling to the right. Carpenter trying to catch him, and he does. Carpenter takes him down. This could come down to Goss. There's the last timeout. You saw John L. They changed that rule a couple years ago in the college game, and the coaches can call timeout. And he was right there to stop the clock with 24 seconds to go. And so, Gary, second down here. Time to do exactly what now for the Spartans?
Well, they clearly have a couple throws to the end zone. On this one, I think he misjudged Carpenter's speed. Stanton did. He thought he had the corner, gets taken down and says, man, this guy can run. I'll tell you. And he was right. Drew Stanton stayed on the turf about 30 seconds, kind of belaboring the fact, should I have thrown that ball away? And I guess in retrospect, he should have.
Absolutely. John Goss would be getting ready over there. 24 seconds. Remember, they are out of timeouts.
Yeah, the only thing Drew Stanton can't do now, two things, obviously. Can't throw an interception. Now you can't get sacked. There wouldn't be really enough time to kick that play. Throw the ball to the corner. I'd go upstairs to Trannon if I would right now.
Carpenter's father, Rob Carpenter, you would think that this youngster was all football, but there's other things in his life, and believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, he's a pretty accomplished piano player. Listen to him talk about the piano discipline.
My mom insisted that we all play the piano growing up, and I hated her every day for it when I had to practice for a half hour to an hour after school, but I've took piano lessons for 6 years. It's something that now she always told me I'd be thankful for it, and I never believed her, but now I enjoy that I can read music, I can go sit down and play.
Bobby, there are so many of us who just wished that we had listened to our mother. All mothers said that, and then we could sit down like you do. So there's the big Trannon on the outside of the formation. Stanton dances away and down.
Field goal team.
They're going to have to get going. They might have to spike it to stop it unless they get them out quickly. No timeouts. They're going to have to hurry now. Here comes Goss. They got 5. They got to get that 12th man off the field. Got it down. Blocked. Scooped up. Live ball. Buckeyes earn business on the blocked field goal. Touchdown. How about that turn of events? Ashton Bodie, the cornerback.
Michigan State panicked. They should have grounded the ball. It was only 3rd down. They should not have run their field goal team out. They made a big mistake.
There's a penalty flag. There's a penalty flag, so hold on here a second.
Michigan State didn't have enough people. They were running off the field. This could be a huge mistake.
It's against State. Decline. Touchdown. Buckeyes.
Big mistake by John L. Smith, the special teams coach. That ball should have been grounded. Drew Stanton knew he shouldn't have got a sack on the play. An illegal formation that time. The ball is good. Look, come off the corner. Michigan State did not even have a wing back on that side. That's why it was blocked. And a play that should have been out of the half makes it a tight football game for the Buckeyes.
Bodie, the corner, takes it back for the touchdown, and he was slicing in to help out on the block. It is hard to define who exactly blocked it. We'll check that. But Bodie scooped it up and made his way to the end zone. Now John L. down below, lots of questions. Let's go to Jack. As you watch John L. cannot believe what is happening. Let's go to Jack.
Coach, obviously a miscalculation there, and you're upset. Tell me about it.
I'm very upset. We should have been in a ball game with fast field goal. The coach had sent him in. We shouldn't have sent him in. That's a dang coaching mistake. The kids are playing their tail off, and the coaches are screwing it up.
Don't have to say any more than that, Brent.
No, you certainly don't, Jack. Very honest assessment. I saw him turn when he yanked the headset off, and he got right in one of his assistants' faces who had sent the team out there. And here is Bodie, who saved the moment by dashing back with the blocked field goal. So take a look now. A.J. Hawk is out on the team.
Nate Sally with no wing back can go right to the player. Nate Sally gets the block and Yabodi runs it down.
ABC Sports presentation of college football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Men love trucks. Chevy trucks. Why? Because when the pavement ends,
up right there where the X-Max is spot, that allowed Nate Sally to come across the short corner and make the block for the touchdown.
Critical series for Michigan State. They won the coin toss. They deferred. They will start the second half. You heard how angry John L. Smith was, and the kickoff is drilled out of the end zone. Crowd is back in it. It will be Stanton and the Spartans at the 20. And Jack, Tressel had to be shocked by what happened.
Yeah, but he used it to his advantage inside the locker room. He reminded his players that gimme put them 3 points ahead and asked them a simple question. Do you guys think that you have earned it? And then he told them, look, it's important to come out and play with more focus in the second half. Gary, one of the things that I want to tell you is you are absolutely right about receiving the ball on this end. The sun is in their eyes. I asked Coach about it, and he said that's been the big problem with the kickoffs.
One was the other direction, though. The first one, Santonio dropped.
Drew Stanton coming out. Power run right straight ahead with Javon Ringer, the freshman. Now our Pacific Life game summary and turnovers plagued the Buckeyes in that first half. They had 3 turnovers, but Gary, there's another number there that you just checked
50 plays for 249 yards, and that's really spooky because the last 3 games, Ohio State has really controlled it. We'll show you with that defense.
Second down and 8. 17-14. The Spartans up, but only by 3. Stanton dances beautifully. Whitner closes in, fires, first down. Came back to Jeremy Scott. That was a beautiful read by Stanton as he danced away from Whitner, bought time, and found the open man for 25 yards.
That's the thing that the Spartans have going for them. Okay, you would think that would be crushing, but you got number 5 going for you. He is playing at a very high level, throws across his body. Oops, I thought you're not supposed to do that. He just did it for a huge play. When you have a quarterback playing to that level, throwing the football, it's really tough to do anything but throw. That's how good he is right now.
He is 16 of 20 for 191 yards against the Buckeye defense. Thought the screen was taken away, so he's got to take it down and out of bounds. He looked for the screen, and the Buckeyes jumped it.
Yeah, they've been jumping those short passes. I think that Abe Baldwin told us, Brent, that they were going to throw a lot of screens in this football game. I think that Jim Heacock and Luke Fickell, the 2 co-defensive coordinators for Ohio State, sensed the same thing, and they've been jumping them. I think Michigan State should throw the ball downfield. They've had great success with it.
See the backup quarterback signaling in the play. One is a dummy call, the other's live. Stanton took a yard loss. Only 3 down linemen for the Bucks. So the Spartans will run against it. Short of the first down as Teague crosses midfield.
Well, you're just not used to watching teams run the ball to the outside of Ohio State. Watch Ryan Woods, a guy in motion right here, come over and just hook the end line of the line of scrimmage. Actually, he gets the linebacker, yes, and man, right there. Gets the hook block, and Teague is in and running around the Buckeye defense.
Pete Clifford is now playing left tackle. Wheeler was shaken up and out of the game. Kaz Merrick tried it for a while, and now it's Clifford. Coaches will try to substitute for their best tackle. Stanton is sacked. Whitner cleaning up on the play. Carpenter was also in there. And Clifford having trouble.
Ohio State busted that time, but busted to their favor. No one covers. Look at one player. Sally's going to go to the middle. 1, 2 Michigan State Spartans. Watch this. Matt Trannon runs right down here. No one covers him. but that confused Drew Stanton. He was trying to throw to the left side, and he never saw Tranum.
Brandon Fields is on, and the coaches are going to have to do something about the left tackle position. With Wheeler out, that is the spot where the Buckeyes attack. This one gets a roar as it's fielded cleanly by Santonio Holmes, as the Buckeyes played butterfingers with punts and kickoffs in the first half. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Hummer. Check out the H2 Hummer like nothing else. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. Polaroid and Citi credit card and financial tools to help you live richly. 1st and 10. Draw play. Pittman breaks it for 13 yards on 1st down before Smith tackles him.
I just get the feeling that Jim Tressel is a much better play caller with the quarterback under center than he is with the spread. I don't think he's used to running that sophisticated spread like Michigan State has. Yeah, they sprung it last year against Michigan at the end of the season with Ted Ginn, but he's a much better play caller with this formation than the spread formation.
Did that one play at the end of the half take the air out of Michigan State. Pittman again. This time the Spartans rise up, and Herron, one of 3 defensive players in on the stop. Herron, of course, associated with Ohio State in a roundabout way, as he was the high school fullback for the controversial one, Maurice Claret. There is Josh Boone, Alex Boone, I should say. Alex, the freshman tackle, who was held up fine on the right side, a very highly recruited offensive lineman, one of the most highly recruited in the Midwest, Alex Boone. And with Barton injured, forced into his first start today, and as far as we can tell, he has held up pretty well. Pecco and McKinney, the defensive tackles who are down. Short of the 1st down on the completion, defended again by Eric Smith. That's Santonio Holmes, the receiver that time.
That's what I think Michigan State exploited. Michigan exploited the Michigan State secondary a couple weeks back. Throw short, forced that Michigan State secondary to take some of those plays away, and guys like Eric Smith, their safety, have to adjust with those short plays, and then you get them deep.
And Smith, of course, a very talented athlete, a pole vault in high school, the pole vaulter, long jumper. That gives him great athletic ability to be able to do all of those things. And again, they thought about him as a bandit linebacker during the spring. 3rd down and 4 for Troy Smith. Stays in the pocket and throws for the 1st down. Ginn is free. Won't catch him. He's gone. Ohio State leads it. What the fans in Columbus have been waiting for. Ginn to break one. And once he's free, you won't catch him. But you go back to the end of the 1st half. The game turned on the blocked field goal.
Short pass, bad fundamentals from Michigan State. We talked about that in the secondary. That play should have been successful, but a missed tackle cost the Spartans 6 and probably 7 points.
Down by 10, the Buckeyes have battled back a couple of times. They now lead it by 4.
Quick slant to the outside. Watch. This should be stopped for about a 5-yard gain. Missed tackle inside by Thornhill, and there goes Ginn. No one will catch him.
Okay, I want to invest.
The Michigan State team is what Ginn did in East Lansing a year ago. He scored 3 touchdowns, rushing, returned a kick, and he also caught the touchdown pass that won the game. We'll take a look at that right after this kickoff as Houston will place the ball up on the tee. With a little breeze blowing now, and if he's got that, he can ride it. He'll just take it deep into the end zone on this kickoff.
Yeah, he ran a reverse in that game, caught a slant pass and a punt return. That's what we all expected Ted Ginn to do. If you make a mistake, he makes you pay for it with points on the board.
Somebody will come over to hold it. The mood of this crowd has changed considerably. They were just quietly watching a little football until a blocked field goal by Nate Sally, whose family is here from Florida. Mother's been living in Columbus during this season, helping him cook his favorite chicken dishes. Pops traveled up from Lauderdale, and now Houston. And it was Uvodi who ran it back in. Now, we mentioned Ginn's heroics. This was the winner on the slant that Gary mentioned. Smith firing it, and once he got to daylight, there's no catching one of the fastest men in all of college football. What everyone expected to see over and over in that 3-touchdown performance turned him into a cover boy before this season started, and so it has been disappointing. There is Sally, number 21, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, recruited by the Buckeyes. They are happy to have him here. Stanton on 1st and 10. Fires complete to Trannon, and Sally standing there. We asked him about his mom Patricia being here in Columbus.
It's great. It's like home away from home, definitely with her here. And, you know, sometimes I have to tell her not to cook because she's always trying to do stuff, you know, trying to clean up something. And I'm like, you know, Mom, I'm okay. You don't have to, you know, do too much. I just want you to be here, relax, and have fun.
Mamas are like that, aren't they? And there's Mom right there. There's Patricia. And watching little Nate. And not so little anymore either. Stanton goes down, pressure. And Jack, I would dare say that Michigan State might still be down about what occurred at the end of the half.
Yeah, Brent, in that last drive, and the go-ahead by Ohio State did nothing but exacerbate the feeling. In fact, so much so that some of the players had to get up in each other's face and remind each other that they're not out of this yet. The thing that kept being said was, keep your heads held high. There's 60 minutes, and there's still almost 30 minutes to go. I think this is a key drive for the Michigan State Spartans, guys.
And Kazmarek has returned at left tackle. The starter is out. Gets into Carpenter and paves the way with that block. They attacked that spot with the freshman for a first down.
Yeah, they played into Bobby Carpenter's aggressiveness that time. You got a tackle that he thinks he can beat. You run the delayed draw right back at it, and as you can see, that's Matt Trannon right there on the field. Very interesting call from Dave Baldwin that time, coming right back with the draw on a matchup that Bobby Carpenter thinks he can win. Good call.
16-yard gain on that call. Now let's take a look at trying to lower left corner.
Is this him? You wonder right there. Let's see if he gets rolled up by his own guy. Yep, he gets his right leg caught underneath him right there and gets it bent back as he gets a little bit of collateral hitting there from his own players.
Trannon, a member of Coach Izzo's basketball team. Last night the basketball season opened up around the various campuses.
Here's Carpenter over to the outside left part of your screen right there, taken in very nicely, taking his own aggressiveness away from him by Kazmarek that time into the outside. Javon Ringer reads it and gets to the outside for a successful play.
Looks like he's fine, but he has to take at least one play off. So Matt, he'll join the basketball team at the conclusion of the football season, and he helped Coach Izzo get to the Final Four again last year with his rebounding, and he's still a little gimpy over there. We'll have to see how that plays itself out. First down and 10 for the Spartans. They come across midfield, stay in the gun, and they're just keeping the freshman out there. Ringer again, and A.J. Hawk, number 47 defensively. Jack, what do you hear initially about Trannon?
Well, actually, it's good news, Brent. It's a bruised quad. They think that once he is able to walk it out and they're able to do a little massaging, he'll be ready for action again.
21-17, the Buckeyes lead it by 4. Second down and 8 on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon here in Columbus. J.U. Colcrick checks in as the running back. 3 down linemen. Carpenter rushing from a stand-up spot. Carpenter won't dance away this time. He is ripped down by Jay Richardson.
That's Buckeye secondary is doing a better job. They're keeping 2 safeties deep now. And you watch Drew Stanton in the pocket here. His feet will move. That's not nervous feet. That's balance. Watch. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Wants to deliver it. Nothing there. And actually, it's a coverage sack on the play. Give that one to the Buckeyes.
Third down and 11. Ringer's the running back. Carpenter trying to get at Stanton from the inside. He's cut off. Allows the first down pass to the 32-yard line. Carpenter from a stand-up position was coming in hard, but he was cut down, and Stanton put it in Kyle Brown's hands for 15 yards and a first down.
Dave Baldwin, the offensive coordinator from Michigan State, knows exactly that they're going to get one of those blitzes from the backside. They roll out away from it. They know they got a weakness. They get the cross blitz from the backside. There's no way they're going to get to Stanton, and watch this nice throw on the run right there for the first down.
And that was Morris, the center, who dropped back to pick up the linebacker that time. He cut Carpenter off. First down and 10. Kulkrick is the blocker, and Stanton to the 30-yard line on first down. And Anthony Schlegel in with the stop. Well, tonight, more college football coming your way. They're going to go down ACC way on ESPN at 7:45 Eastern. So you can flip over from the White Sox and the Angels and check the Noles of Florida State, ranked number 4 against Virginia. Interesting test for Al Groh and the Cavaliers. Struggling at the tackle spots. Both of his tackles could be sidelined today. Stanton from the pocket. First down. Then he used his tight end as almost a blocker and throwing to the running back that time, and he sort of hid behind him and got watch as he positions himself here.
Absolutely here again. Drew Stanton in the pocket. Watch his great footwork. Both feet move together. Doug Nussmeier, his quarterback coach, moves, shuffles, shuffles, shuffle. Good protection. Does it, throws it, and then gets rid of the ball. That's the way you play quarterback.
First down's 20 with Teague. The senior averaging 6.6 yards coming into the game. He gets the carry behind the middle, and check in and see how the Red Raiders of Texas Tech are doing. John, they putting some points up today.
As usual, Brent, it's time for the singular All-America Player of the Week update. And why do they put up points? Because Cody Hodges is a terrific quarterback. Finds Jared Hicks there 20 yards. Hodges 26 of 37 for 346 and 2 touchdowns. Text the word vote to 87654 now on your singular phone for your ballot and a chance to win a trip to the national championship.
Looking forward to Jackaroo driving me for a little Austin barbecue next week and watching the Horns against Texas Tech. Picking his way for a first down, and A.J. Hawk bringing Teague down. So John L. Smith's offense driving the ball, trailing here by 4 points. This would be a huge lift for the Spartans if they could bounce right back and regain the lead. Nobody knows it any more than the veteran Coach Smith.
And that puts Michigan State over 100 yards rushing in this game. We talked about keeping that balance. They've spread out that Ohio State defense, and they know how to run the ball. They've been running this offense for 10 years, John L. Smith has.
First and goal. Double tight. Running it for a touchdown. That was easy for Jason Teague. Man, nobody laid a hand on him. I don't think the Buckeyes expected that play at all.
Good quick count called that time by Drew Stanton. Got up there, snapped it, got started. Look at Ohio State still moving. A.J. Hawk is getting ready to go. Blitz to the outside. They run right inside of it. Inside Marcus Green, number 94, does a spin move. Tried to do too much and kind of ran away from the play.
Big right guard, Nabilski, was right in the thick of things down there. Number 71. 66 is Getbay over the right side. John Goss with his punter, the holder. Tacks it on. Whether the Buckeyes like it or not, they are in a shootout against perhaps the best overall offense in the Big Ten league. And Running up is Holmes. Short return on it. Just short of the 30-yard line. So that's where Troy Smith and this Buckeye offense will go to work. Behind again, 24-21. We'll take a break, and then we'll come back with Troy. Struggled in the second. Got a break when the Michigan State defensive backfield cannot corral Ted Ginn. So Troy Smith, we'll see how his confidence is. He comes up under center. Pittman is running back on the toss sweep. Daylight. First down. Bounces it for about 10 yards. Will, the basketball season's underway, and Jaggerroot, I'm predicting that my friend Thad Matta is going to the NCAA tournament this year with the Buckeyes, my friend.
Well, I don't know if Thad wants to hear that. I was talking to him about how deep you guys might go. Now Brent's predicting you're going to go to the tournament.
Well, I hope he's right. You know, and he normally is. And, you know, we've got 2 practices under our belt. Kids are working hard and very excited about the season.
We'll get right back to you. Thad, of course, has a terrific recruiting class checking in next year. A great game from Indianapolis, and Troy is short of the first down. We go back to Jack.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your squad this year. What is going to be necessary for you to make it to the tournament?
Well, I think, you know, we've got a couple areas we've got to get better at. And number 1 is guarding the basketball. Number 2 is going to be rebounding the basketball. And you know, those were areas of concern last year. And we've put a primary focus as we go into the season on those 2 areas.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, good luck to Thad Matta. Did a great job. The team was not eligible a year ago, and of course they handed Illinois its lone regular season loss here in Columbus, and a very exciting game. Now the Spartans are claiming that they were pulled as they jumped into the neutral zone, and the penalty flags.
Hamby moved on the play. Ryan Hamby, number 80.
False start. Number 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Well, if you see a great Pontiac game-changing performance today, nominated at ESPN.com, search Pontiac. Let me dial right now.
Yeah,
I saw a
so.
game-changing performance on Nate Sally's blocked field goal and Ubauti for the touchdown. And Pontiac will contribute $5,000 to the winning school's scholarship fund.
If
you
you're
talk
gonna,
about a game changer.
Yeah, if you're going to use the play, though, you got to use the whole play, and that means Michigan State's special teams running on improperly.
Second down and 8. Can Holmes get the first down? And holding is going to be the call we hear. The preliminary signal is that this one's coming back.
Troy Smith did a good job of feeling that pressure, but it was too much pressure that time, and you get one of those offensive linemen trying to grab someone, that's the call.
Well, let's check in on Minnesota and Wisconsin. John Sunders, what's happening?
Well, Glenn Mason's squad is starting to take a little bit of control here. Gary Russell, watch this run. Just pure speed, busting between a couple of defenders. 37 yards. Maroney's over 200 yards rushing for the game, and Minnesota leads at 27-17. They're just starting the 4th quarter, Brent.
John, that Russell fella is a pretty good backup. He's the one who set up the winning field goal at Ann Arbor. And the Gophers took home the little brown jug for the first time since 1986 last week. So Maroney and Russell, a dynamite twosome. In a couple of weeks, the Buckeyes will be up in the Twin Cities, taking on Mason and the Gophers. Second down and 18. Smith, he fires it out to Ginn. Only 2 receivers have caught passes from Troy Smith today. Holmes and Ginn. Holmes with 3 catches for 96 yards, and Ginn, of course, broke the big one for the touchdown on some sloppy Michigan State tackling. Time permitting, we'll have the thrifty car rental post-game report. John and the gang will get you ready for the showdown in Ann Arbor. Penn State visiting Michigan. That's coming up on ABC, and of course a lot of other games. They'll have the scores and highlights.
Michigan State's defense must not allow a first down here. 3rd and long, they must play solid defense and win.
4 down linemen. They do. Incomplete. That was Gonzalez on a crossing pattern. They have not found him yet today, but Anthony Gonzalez could not hang on, and the Spartans forced them to punt. Even if he had caught the ball, Gary, it didn't look like he was getting a first down.
That was a give-up play by Troy Smith. You got to go downfield on that one. Ted Ginn was streaking with a post. Throw it long. Let him go for it. Let him try to catch the ball. Even if he caught it, he wasn't going to get through 5 Spartan defensive backs.
Here's Trapasso. That long one of 76. Kyle Brown is back deep. 3 protectors. Fair catch at the 25-yard line.
You're going to get holding again for Michigan State on that play, Jason Teague.
Well, tomorrow, reminder, the Michelin Championship, the TPC course out in Las Vegas, and live coverage begins tomorrow at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on ABC. There's the holding call against the Spartans.
A few minutes ago, you said that the Buckeye fans are feeling a little anticipation, frustration. You know, I've lived a long time in Michigan, and Michigan State fans know the feeling. Let's put it that way.
A Spartan fan is born that way? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they have a lot of experience.
First down, Michigan State.
I think they have a different quarterback, though. I've really, you know, we've watched a lot of games, and he's got that Drew Brees heart when he plays. He's a competitor, very accurate, and we really love the way he tees it up every time.
The freshman Ringer, his running back. He's rushed for 68 yards today. He's over 70 now, and he is pulled down by Carpenter. Number 42, one of the more impressive linebackers.
What Carpenter does right there is he lets the tight end feel like he's blocking him, but he holds him off with his hands. He waits for the bounce out, then he kind of like bench presses him away and uses his speed to make the play. That's exactly the way you do it. Force the ball inside and then bounce out and make the tackle.
His daddy, Rob Carpenter, played in the NFL. Stanton in a passing situation. He felt the pressure, got it into the tight end's hands, but Kellen Davis couldn't tuck it away and move quickly enough for a first down as A.J. is there defensively. But, you know, talking about Stanton, Gary asked him what he wants to improve.
Taking what the defense is giving you. You know, I think also another added dimension you might see a little bit more is me running it against these teams, just because, you know, the caliber of players that we're going against, things are going to break down, and, you know, people are going to be covered.
Well, Trannon, his big wide receiver, has checked back in. Came into the game leading in pass efficiency. That time, he took what the defense gave him, and his tight end just couldn't smoothly handle the ball, or they might have had a first down. They're forced here to call a timeout.
Yeah, he read that blitz from Dante Whitner and made a good, quick play.
So he'll go over and talk to the coaches about it, and we'll take a break. 24-21 Spartans.
On the field, everybody else is in the huddle. He spent the whole
We talked to
timeout.
Bobby Carpenter about his dad and his relationship.
I think in my mind he was one of the greatest players that I've ever seen, and that's just, you know, me. I'm biased, obviously, but, you know, he played so hard, and he wasn't necessarily the most talented player all the time, but his work ethic, I think, carried him a long way.
So his dad taught him football, and his mom made him play the piano, and he's a fine young man.
Michigan State likes to run the option with Teague in the ball game right here.
Here they come with that look, and Stanton breaks the tackle and slips for the first down.
Yeah, that was the option play. He saw the wide end and cut it upfield and ran through a tackle. Ohio State was ready for it, but with Teague offset, Michigan State, remember that option play against Notre Dame to win that overtime game? That is, as you see, I was just looking at it, the 19th rush of the game. 19 times he ran through passing and design runs this game.
First down for the Spartans. There's Teague. And we check in down below with Jack.
How tough is Drew Stanton, Brent? When he was a little kid, he was involved in an altercation on his bicycle. He split his head open, like so many kids do. He refused stitches. Well, fast forward to once the healing was done, there was some gravel left there, so there's a little bump on his head. His brothers, not to maybe capitalize on a misfortune, nicknamed him Rockhead for his hard-headedness and for that little bump. He's playing like a Rockhead today. He's tough.
Yeah, he's not afraid to stick that head in there, is he, Jack? He'll jolt the linebacker. The Buckeyes get their 11th man on the field, but not promptly. 3 down. He's the right defensive end. 2nd down and 7. Got the first down. Talk about a patient. Gary mentioned it. And you saw him dancing on his toes that time. Great footwork by Stanton. Colquitt, the receiver.
What he does is that's a design play. It's a delay by the running back. If he reads zone, he knows he's going to get a late check down. So you remain patient. The key, a three-man rush, he had time to wait for it, and he just waited it and lobbed it right there.
So the final seconds ticking away here in the third quarter. The Buckeyes, on a big play by Ted Ginn, regained the lead, but the Spartans came back as Drew Stanton drove them down the field for the touchdown. The money quarter is coming up. Michigan State and Ohio State, and we'll have it after this message and a word from
college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
We get ready to start the fourth quarter here in Columbus, Ohio. With Gary Danielson and Jack Aruda, I'm Brett Musburger. It's 24-21. Michigan State with the lead. Stanton with the ball on a 1st and 10. Teague short of the 50-yard line. Gary, I guess the easiest, but what surprises you? What disappoints you here in this contest?
I don't know if I'm surprised, but we talked early.
Right.
With the great offense be able to move against the great defense. Well, the answer is in. The great offense can do it. I mean, you look at what Ohio State has done in the past few games and what Michigan State is doing today. That's the reason they're winning this football game.
2nd down and 8. Stanton getting great time, going to go deep, incomplete. He overthrew. Trying to, Gary mentioned it, folks. So let's take a look at this out of whack stat. The yards allowed in their last 3 games versus today.
And remember, Penn State is undefeated. Iowa, everybody says, has come alive. 179, 137, 195, and today 386. This Ohio State defense giving up an average of 238 all year, and that includes 2 undefeated teams, Texas and Penn State. Matt Trannon is not healthy, Brent. He is limping down there still.
This is a big 3rd down.
Here comes the blitz from Ohio State.
Sprinting away, he'll throw it away. Incomplete. Well, John, a week ago, BC rallied in the second half. Are they doing the same today against Wake?
Brent, you're right on the money. Quentin Porter, 2 yards. This pass is actually tipped before it gets to Chris Miller for a touchdown. They've just added another touchdown and have taken the lead 21-20. Still with a lot of time left, and that Wake Forest offense moving.
John, it's amazing how slow Tom O'Brien's team has started the last couple of weeks, but they come on. That's a pretty good football team and very well coached. Here's Fields' punt. Booms it out of the end zone, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line. So we'll take a break. 14:07 to play in regulation.
The best place I've been in vacation probably be Las Vegas. The last time I got a haircut was my senior year in high school. My biggest fear is to wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and I'm John L. Smith wearing boots.
He ran up. He said, Mr. Danielson, you going to use what I said about Coach? and we wondered if maybe he didn't want us to. And he said, got to use it, got to use it.
I was in East Lansing Thursday, and he was ready for it when I asked him those.
So 4 down, and Smith gets protection, fires. Here it is, Santonio. And I believe he was down on the play.
He was down.
The view and looking at it was that he was down, whistled down, and that he had a first down.
That's the quick passing game that will work against Michigan State. Force those defensive backs to adjust, and then you will have big plays behind it. There he is going down, hits the ground, and the ball comes loose, obviously, after the play. Santonio Holmes, there's slants available. There's Diggs, which is a crossing route about 15, 18 yards across the middle of the field.
Back at the gun. Pittman, the running back, to Smith's left. Pittman on cutback. Smith holds on the jersey before he can get a better grip.
Interesting formation. I haven't seen Ohio State use much of this. Shotgun, 2 tight ends, and then a running back and 2 wide receivers.
So the offensive production, 74 plays to 28 in the time of possession over on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and you know, that blocked field goal, that botched up play by Michigan State made this football game. Here it is, that formation. 2 tight ends, 1 running back.
Option look, pitch. And big number 92, Clifton Ryan from Saginaw, tracks Pittman down. He's perhaps one of the best defensive ends in the Big Ten this year.
Very difficult to run that option to a defensive end who is head up to a tight end. It takes too long to get to him. Then on that pitch, Clifton Ryan can run out and make the play. You're better off running that ball with the zone play against that.
He was the defensive lineman, wasn't it, Gary?
Yeah,
he was holding on to Chad Henne when he fumbled.
He's the one that got the sack against Chad Henne. Been through the work. See how he lines up out here on the tight end? Very tough to get outside of him.
2nd and 8. Here comes the end around, trying to put it in the hands of Ginn. Ginn will step out of bounds, could not get the corner. Bazemore, the big defensive lineman amongst those number 40, breaking that play up, and that's a 7-yard loss.
That was the play. Bazemore stayed home on the backside, did his assignment. When the ball goes away as a backside defensive end, you make sure you're as deep as the deepest player. Sometimes it's the quarterback, but in this case, he saw Ted Ginn coming around, and he forced that to be a negative play.
Well, here's your 3rd and 15, and you would think he would look for Holmes or Ginn here. Needs 15 yards.
Another must-win by the Michigan State secondary.
4 down linemen, 2 linebackers drop off behind him. Smith takes off. Can he get to 15? No way. This is what the coaches are sometimes critical of Troy Smith about, as Herron makes the stop. If he had no chance to pick up the 15 yards, he's got to throw it downfield, Gary.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if somebody broke a route here, but there was really no one to throw the ball to on this. There was no one in the middle of the field. Michigan State had 2 wide safeties, but for whatever reason, Ohio State's design of the play had no one in the middle of the field to attack it.
Well, Trapasso back to punt, trying to get good field position for the defense. Brown, fair catch at the 23-yard line, and that's where Stanton will put it in play against A.J. Hawk. How did Hawk get his name? That's coming up from Jackaroo.
Leader of this Ohio State Buckeyes defense. All over the place, tough as nails. And maybe it's because of his namesake. Not necessarily his namesake, guys, but actually his initial sake. He was given the initials AJ for A.J. Foyt, a tribute to his grandfather, Dean, who built midget racing cars in the Midwest. And he told his son, he said, son, if you want to name him AJ, that's better than naming him after me.
And he's a tough old hombre, just like A.J. Foyt, too. Ringer, the freshman in, play fake, Stanton downfield, and he's got Jeremy Scott. The Floridian picks up a first down. There's always 2 or 3 Florida youngsters on this Michigan State team. Whitner makes the stop.
Affect the linebackers. That's exactly what Michigan State did. They'll pull people inside on the line, and watch AJ on this play right now. He's going to read run. He's sniffing. Slagle run. They're way up there. They don't drop back. They're right at the line of scrimmage. Both of them are about a yard off the ball, and there's that opening. That's what you have to do to Ohio State's linebackers.
Quick snap. Stanton's going to pick his way about 5 yards. Whitner, the safety, and he's been very active now. Now, here are the tackles, but there is another story about this defense. And look at Hawk with 16 today. They've been great, yes, this defense, but they have not forced a turnover today. In fact, they are last in the Big Ten in turnover margin and 84th in the country. Now, the Buckeyes have turned it over 3 times, which means right now Ohio State is -3. Blocked field goal is not a turnover. This defense needs a turnover right now. 2nd down and 7. Ringer, the freshman, short of the first down.
That's a lot of tackles. I'll give that to you. But when a team has 77 plays like Michigan State, you're going to get a lot of tackles from somebody.
So we're at the top of the hour, and with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute, I'm Brent Musburger. This has been a gorgeous Saturday afternoon for football, and they're hoping that the bell tolls for the Buckeyes right now. They trail it. They've been down by 10 a couple of times, blocked a field goal. Ubodi returned it for a touchdown at the end of the half. 2 tight ends check in on this. 3rd down and 2.
Remember, 3rd and inches they threw. You got to figure they're going to throw here.
And they're doing just that. Incomplete. I thought on the ricochet that the tight end, Kellen Davis, might have a shot at it. The ball was up in the air there a little bit, but the Spartans are forced to. Good hold by the Buckeye defense.
It was a good call by the Buckeye defense. Michigan State assumed it would be man-to-man. Ohio State stayed in a zone, and Ubodi just sat to the outside, and that's why Trannon had to throw the ball behind the tight end.
Now you saw that signal by Brandon Fields. He's an outstanding punter. He's going to try to angle it off to the left. That's where he threw that arm out. And now it's going to be marked. It's inside the 20-yard line, right at the 15. The referee signals where it went out of bounds from his spot. And the judge there comes up to the 15, and it'll be 1st and 10. 85 yards away for Troy Smith. Can the Buckeyes rally? We'll find out.
Freddie at 8:30, 7:30 Central after an all-new George, only on ABC.
Number 55 is center Nick Mangold. He's a senior from Centerville, Ohio, and an outstanding offensive lineman. He'll call. The offensive line calls. He'll look for the backers, see if they're back in the shotgun. He'll see where the safeties are downfield. It's his responsibility. And then he has to make the accurate center to Troy Smith, who fires incomplete on the play. Now here is Mangold talking about his keys that you just saw him making.
Looking for the Mike backer, which is what we call the middle linebacker. That's the first thing we base a lot of things off of, because that determines who's going where and whatnot. And then the next biggest thing is looking for safeties, where they're at, to determine what kind of, if we got a pass play on.
So Mangold will lead the offensive line out of the huddle.
Ken Gidd was not in on the first play of this series. Now he checks in, comes to the wide side of the field.
You can see where he's checking for Mike. Schlegel is the middle linebacker. Smith. Coach totally fumble. The Spartans pounce on it. That was Ryan. Clifton Ryan, number 92, in on the bottom of that pile. And that would be the 4th Buckeye turnover of this game. And that might turn their lights out. That was huge.
During the break, Jack Arute told us the last thing that Jim Tressel said to Troy Smith is, don't be afraid to take that ball up there if you don't like it. What that does, though, is put that thought in your head, and it ends up being the first thing you think of. You scramble when he had a guy wide open, gets hit from the side, and a turnover, another turnover, as Bazemore, is that who got it? Bazemore.
No. Bazemore knocks it out.
He made the hit, yes. And wow, what a play. Can Michigan State put this game away?
Now Stanton is under center. Teague, the veteran, gets a play fake. Roll right. Carpenter closing in. Deflected. And it might have been picked off by Malcolm Jenkins. Number 2 had a shot at this pass as Carpenter was closing in from behind.
Bootleg away from Carpenter, and Malcolm Jenkins is trying to close for the tackle, and then all of a sudden he realizes it's not a good throw and an opportunity for a turnover. That's what coaches say. You only get a few opportunities. Can you make the play? And that time Jenkins could have made the play and saved the Buckeyes.
2nd down and 10 for Drew Stanton.
Trannon down here continues to limp.
The running play with the veteran Teague to the 19-yard line. Well, the IBM star watcher, there's no question that is number 5 of Michigan State, Drew Stanton, came in as the number 1 quarterback, and he hasn't given any ground, and he has really impressed Gary Danielson.
Yeah, not just with his footwork, his accuracy, his toughness. He's calling all the protections against a very good team. He throws bootlegs, dropbacks. He's done a lot of good things. You know, field goal really doesn't help Michigan State. 27-21, you lose the game 28-27. They need 7 here.
Ringer checks in as the running back.
Blitz look.
There's the option. Here's the freshman Ringer. Could not get past Whitner first. Whitner, the safety, coming up hard on the freshman running back at number 90 right there. Let's check in on Wake Forest and Boston College as the field goal kicker comes out for State.
Well, Brent, we told you Boston College had taken the lead over Wake, but not for long. Quentin Porter, big mistake. Tosses this one, and Josh Gaddish steps in front of it and takes it 29 yards for the touchdown. The Demon Deeks back on top, 27-21, Brent.
Here's a big moment for Goss. A 36-yarder. It is from the right hash. Missed it to the right.
Same way he missed it in overtime. He pushed it against Michigan, and he pushes it here. Huge stop by the Buckeye defense. Not a good series for Michigan State. They were out of sync. They were not accurate with their passes and keep the Buckeyes in the game after the turnover.
Now, what that does do, it would allow Ohio State to tie the game with a field goal. It could wind up forcing overtime, a miss like that, because it's sitting on the 3 right now. And here is Fields getting the hole down, and he just slips it off to the right. That time they did have 11 men on the field. The Spartans, in case you weren't with us at the end of the first half, only 10 out on the field in a hurry up on 3rd down when they should have spiked the ball, allowed the kicking team to come out and kick the field goal on 4th down. So the coaching staff screwing up on the Spartan sideline, and now 1st and 10, and under center, draw play, Pittman sprinting over to the left. And our Pacific Life game summary looks like this right now. AJ, there's Sally on that blocked field goal with Ubodi scooping it up and running it to the end zone for the touchdown. Again on a missed tackle, put the Buckeyes up briefly, and then the Spartans came back on Jason Teague's 6-yard run, and they're up 24-21.
Still only Ginn and Holmes have caught passes for Ohio State.
Smith keeping it himself, got the first down.
Anthony Gonzalez hasn't caught a pass. Roy Hall has not caught a pass. Antonio Pittman not caught a pass. Here's the option play. Mangold gets a good reach block inside. You see Petco get his arm out on the play. Positive play. First down for the Buckeyes.
All 3 timeouts remain for Trussell and the Bucks. An offense that struggled, but still in all has 300 yards, killed by turnovers, 4 in this game. Pittman tries to bounce it outside and did not get away from Heron.
Yeah, David Heron took on the blocker, bounced off, and made the play. You don't see linebackers in the pass on the isolation play just throw a blocker away and make a play like that. That didn't used to happen around here.
Let's check in with Jack.
Well, Brent, David Heron came to Michigan State as a fullback, but that was before John L. showed up. At the first meeting, John L. asked the guys, all right, what do you play? He says, I play fullback. He says, no, you don't. You play linebacker. They weren't going to use a fullback anymore. Good thing, huh?
Indeed. 2nd and 10. Blitz look. Throws to Pittman on the open spot. Mangold's out there with him. A first down across midfield to the 45-yard line. And Ashton Watson, the corner, forced to make the stop. That's a 21-yard gain. Big play for the Buckeyes, who are on the move.
Nice call. Holmes, as I talked about, and Ginn were the only 2 receivers to catch a play. Watch Santonio Holmes out here. He comes inside and doesn't hold on the play. It's screen pass. Pittman stays in. Holmes comes inside. He feels it, and he goes, let go, let go. Don't get a holding penalty. Smart play by Santonio Holmes.
First down across midfield for Troy Smith. Pulls back out. Looks to go deep. Fires to Holmes. Holmes is free. Headed for the end zone. Dives for the touchdown. Santonio Holmes.
Same play they scored before.
has regained the lead and now hoping to make it a 4-point advantage, as Jaron Hayes was unable to tackle Santonio Holmes. Houston will attempt to tack on the extra point. Does just that. Just inside of 5 minutes left for Drew Stanton and the Spartans. Missing the stop. And Holmes for the go-ahead touchdown. Buckeyes ahead. Short of the 20. Now here is the touchdown, Gary.
Let's go back. Same play as last time. Ted Ginn right here is going to run the post route. To the outside, Santonio Holmes last time run it straight, but this time because of the coverage comes back on the comeback. Watch how. Option to the short side of the field, come back out of it. It's different coverage. Read the comeback, then the missed tackle on a beautiful throw. Touchdown. 2 plays, 1 a comeback, 1 a fade. 2 plays, 14 points.
Missed tackles, missed tackles, missed tackles have plagued the Spartans at key moments of this game. 4:49. Drew Stanton under pressure going down, sacked at the 10-yard line. And that for the Buckeyes is their first sack of the game. Bobby Carpenter, number 42, son of former NFL star Rob Carpenter.
And inside that time, Schlegel was there. A.J. Hawk was there. Everybody, all the linebackers were in on the play. Schlegel, 51, comes knifing inside first. Watch him go to his feet. Steps up inside, and Carpenter makes the play. Schlegel, the play behind the play on that one.
Second down and 18, and the Spartans are backed up. Stanton stands tough, incomplete, missed his big target. Matt Trennan, the basketball player. Stanton has lost his left tackle in the first half. Wheeler is out. And you can see that time that Scarlet and Gray closing in on the Spartan signal caller. 3rd down and 18 for Drew Stanton.
Jeremy Scott, number 32, the wide receiver, was pleading to that offensive line to give Stanton some time.
Not going to get it off. Fumble! Buckeyes! Fumble! They've got it at the 1-yard line.
Carpenter had a touchdown and he dropped it.
At the 1-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal, Ohio State.
Drew Stanton had time early, and then all of a sudden he gets hit. He tries to get out of the pocket, coughs it up. Watch Stanton. He'll get there. He'll start to bounce. Gets a little pressure. Nothing. Then gets hit inside by Marcus Green, number 94. Ball pops loose. Carpenter snacks it. Doesn't make the play to score. Watch Green make the hit. Ball pops loose. Carpenter says, I got a touchdown. Chris Morris knocks it loose, and Marcus Green gets it again.
So it's 1st and goal for Tressel and the Buckeyes. And is he going to have to call a timeout? Is there a personnel problem? You see he was upset down on that sideline. He wants certain personnel on the field.
Why does he not take a timeout, Jim Tressel?
He's got to take a timeout.
Right, he's got
replay.
It.
That
Yes,
ball's got to go over.
He did. But I think they got buzzed before the timeout.
I didn't think there was any question about this.
Either did I. I didn't think there was any question either.
I was shocked when I looked down there and saw the Spartan offense.
And Ohio State was confused that what had happened also. Tressel was waiting as long as he could, and I think the upstairs official was waiting as long as he could before he buzzed.
So Jim Augustine is the technician upstairs.
That's what
he will now confer with Steve Newman on this.
Again, that call seemed obvious, and look at all the confusion right there by a lot of players. It makes it look sloppy.
But you're blaming instant replay for the confusion, and I'll say it's the officials on the field.
Well, either
Big
way,
difference.
How about the system? Okay, how about the system right now? I much prefer the challenge
system. The system is to get it right, and the only way you're going to get it right is with instant replay.
But this seemed just, okay, tackle right there.
Is he down?
Balls clearly comes out. The ball is not called dead on the play. The whistle didn't blow. How does Michigan State end up with the ball in punt protection?
Now Pitcock falls on the ball. That was Pitcock who recovered it.
Forward progress was ruled. The runner was down short of the goal line.
Blown.
Fourth down. Play
whistle.
stands is called on the field.
That's the whistle.
Yeah.
Whistle had blown.
Whistle had blown. They called it.
And forward progress over, so they can't change it.
Absolutely not. And the call was forward progress. Drew Stanton was being hit backwards before he fumbled the ball.
So it is 4th and 27, but the Buckeyes will still get the ball as Fields comes on to punt it. And look how close he is to that end line. He's an outstanding punter.
I don't know why we weren't told that before.
Here comes Santonio. Looking alley. Ball is down and out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. And so the Buckeyes have an excellent field position here. College football on ABC is brought to you by Nissan, who reminds you to shift the way you move through the world. Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And Allstate, a proud sponsor of the Bowl Championship Series.
Well, you can see it. We talked about in the open that Ohio State needed to get some big plays against this secondary. That's been the story of the football game for Ohio State. Big plays on the blocked field goal and passing the ball against the Michigan State secondary.
There's Pittman. Breaks it. Now they're at the 1-yard line. Took a couple of plays, but eventually they got back to that spot.
I don't know why the play wasn't called like that to begin with on the play on the Stanton fumble. Just forward progress. It's down. Let's play football. Here it is. First down play. You can see it. Stan White, number 89, gets a good block on Heron. Pittman gets into the secondary and almost scores. Michigan State, again, finds a way when they're moving the football all game to snatch defeat out of victory.
There's White ahead of Pittman. The old familiar Buckeye power eye. Here it comes. And the Spartans throwing back. 2:09. Margin is 4. And a reminder, of course, unbeaten Penn State taking on Michigan at the Big House. Louisville, West Virginia for Morgantown. Colorado, Texas down Austin way. Well, we'll be next week to watch Texas and Texas Tech. Texas Tech amongst the teams having a banner season.
Well, you almost, if you're Michigan State, wonder if you should be taking timeouts here. We've got 2 left. Ohio State is going to bleed that clock.
Margin is 4. Troy Smith straight ahead. Got the touchdown. It's now 10.
Ohio State has suffered all year with a lack of turnovers, but the blocked field goal and the fumble by, and then the subsequent sacks by Stanton and then the return by Holmes has kind of uplifted this Ohio State offense.
Houston tacks it on.
Michigan State has had the ball 48 minutes, Ohio State 20 minutes, and Ohio State leads by 11.
So Jim Tressel had Nate Sally making a big hit. And I asked him, would you rather have a big hit in this game or a big interception? Here's what number 21 had to say.
I get a huge hit, the ball pops up and, somebody like Dante or Tyler gets the interception and, takes it back to the house. That'd be great.
Well, here it is, folks, the biggest hit of the game, and it's against a field goal. Sally blocks it. Here's Ubodi. This in the closing seconds of the first half. Ohio State appeared to be out of it at that time. But the key play of this game, as it turned around in the waning seconds of the first half, And there is that key moment for Nate Sally, number 21. He gets the big hit, all right, on the kickoff, on the field goal, and then Ubodi scoops it up.
Yeah, the other big hit by that whole defense after the turnover by Troy Smith. They got to stop. Just like Michigan got that stop on 3rd and short against Michigan State. Michigan State gets the ball at about the 20-yard line, can't get any points. Breathe life into Ohio State football team, and they're going to win this football game.
Houston coming up on the 20. So a huge day around a conference as the Buckeyes keep their Big Ten championship hopes alive. Minnesota trying to hang on against Wisconsin. Iowa likewise against a surprising Indiana. And how about the Wildcats of Northwestern? Now, the other story today, the missed tackles into big play opportunities. Watch Ted Ginn. Should have been a short gain away from the Spartan defenders to the end zone. Folks, that was just the beginning. Santonio Holmes hit, slips free. Those two missed tackles and the screw up in the field goal turned victory into defeat as far as the Spartans were concerned. Down goes Stanton.
Yeah, the Michigan State offensive line is overwhelmed now.
So stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. John, Craig, and Aaron have highlights and analysis, time permitting. And of course, remember, in just a few minutes, off to the big house most of you go, up to Ann Arbor. How about those Wolverines? Gary, give me a read on that. Disappointing season. Will they bounce back against Penn State?
Is Chad Henne going to play well? Answer me that first. If he plays well, they have a good chance of winning that football game.
Here's Stanton to Kyle Brown, who slips on the cut. And a final minute ticking away. Another just an excruciatingly tough loss for Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State finding a way to lose football games they should win.
Well, partner, we're getting ready to head down Texas way for a little barbecue. Watch Vince Young and that gang.
No early flights out of there with Texas Tech throwing the ball.
Well, that's a 5-hour game waiting to happen. Bouncer by Stanton, and you know, you feel for Drew Stanton and the Spartans. They got a lot of great players on that team, and just wasn't to be today.
I'll tell you, Ohio State's defense obviously shows that they're a legitimate defense, but it won't be easy for Ohio State. They're going on the road. That'll be a tough game at Minnesota. Tough game at Michigan.
Be there for that game?
That'd be nice. I'll do that.
Minneapolis, you like that? Little Charlie's Steakhouse, if that place is still around.
Good entertainment
Harry's.
up there. A lot of good entertainment.
No boat trips for Gary Danielson.
That's right.
4th down and 7 here. The final seconds ticking away. And today's Chevrolet players of the game. Drew Stanton, he battled his heart out. And we'll make him the Chevy player of the game. There he is with one of the great linebackers, Bobby Carpenter. A.J. Hawk will be our choice. He must have had about 18 tackles. And a recognition of their effort, Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
Santonio Holmes, pretty good football player, isn't he?
Yeah,
if he was with a great passing offense, he would be making a lot of plays. I think that guy's got a bright career ahead of him.
Terry Love incidentally made that catch. The spotter
Michigan
Brian
State would
Momelson
like to
wants
go
make
home.
Sure he
Look
gets
at them.
full credit.
They're done. They are just glazing their eyes right now.
It's going to be a tough one to come back from.
Yep.
Overtime to Michigan. And here they let one get away against the Buckeyes. So the Buckeyes stay alive. Go to 4-2 on the season. But it wasn't easy, folks. May look that way with an 11-point difference right now.
Just
but
like
this
last year.
Not easy.
Last year, Michigan State had the lead before Ted Ginn hit that slant pass. A.J. Hawk had a late interception and then a kind of a late meaningless touchdown. This is the same way. This football game, the Spartans are going to kick themselves. Down there after that turnover, could come away with nothing again. And, boy, you knew that secondary for Michigan State was vulnerable. And finally, those two receivers from Ohio State figured out a way to put points on the board. So Michigan State was one of only 2 teams, I believe, Brent, that controlled their own destiny in the Big Ten. Penn State now is the only one left.
So thanks to our executive producer of ABC Sports, Mike Pearl, senior producer Bob Toms, coordinating producer and the producer of the game today, Bob Goodrich, directed by Steve Bime, who will now sweat out his USC Trojans against Notre Dame. Technical director Randy Hargrove, associate producer Will O'Toole, associate directors Brian Fay, the PAs Dan Barr, Julie Norman, production manager Kevin Wingling.
Series, and it doesn't end now. You got to go to the next one the same way.
Well, that's right. This is the Big Ten.
Thanks, Coach.
All righty.
19 tackles for A.J. Hawk. Man, what a defensive performance. 35-24. And so, John, we had a good one here in the Horseshoe, and you got a lot of other football coming your way, partner.